80s, yeah.
In the
And they were
in
like
19
10.
yeah, they were all prodigies.
Yes.
That's how they ended up there. Well, it's great to see you guys and Jane. Appreciate everybody being here. So just to kind of kick things off, I guess we'll start with the low hanging fruit, right? I don't know if you've heard the government shut down, and it doesn't seem to be opening up anytime soon. Jane, you think we're going to start changing that anytime soon?
I don't know. I am not seeing evidence that the sides are budging. And so it's disconcerting with me. There was a court order today that said that Trump has to go ahead and fund the SNAP benefits.
Right.
So that could change the dynamic significantly because I think, you know, I think a lot of Democrats would be upset about, may not be. Um, you know, I'm finally to the point where I'm back on both their houses. I mean, guys,
Ready to
um,
open?
yeah, I mean, we're ready to open, and you gotta have the fight. And look, every side does this. If the Democrat's the president, the Republicans shut it down. If the Republican president, oh, it's the Democrats that shut it down. And it's frustrating that we can't come up with a budget.
David Bartlett, this one feels different to me from the standpoint of they're trying to do a continuing resolution that it's a continuing resolution of Chuck Schumer's budget from last year that he put together, and now he won't vote.
They voted for the exact continuing resolution 13 times.
And now they voted against it 14 times.
I think it's a very dangerous play. The party out of power is always trying to find an issue, and it's always dangerous.
And leverage.
And to give you a great example, going back to, actually all our time, I guess.
Yeah.
In 1994, the Republicans swept and in Gingrich, and the Republicans overplayed their hand. And in 96, Democrats took back things. And so we've seen this a lot of times that I think it's very dangerous for Democrats. Now that you're into SNAP benefits, you're talking about real people issues.
Yeah.
We're seeing the traffic controllers. I think I would caution the Republicans to not go too far. They need to keep the tone of continuing to put it up for a vote and to try to break the logjam. I just think it's the right thing to do. Yeah.
Ted, I heard some people talking on the news shows over the weekend, and they were thinking that this is going to continue until past the November 4th elections, because you've got the elections in Virginia, obviously the elections in New York that we hear them talking about all the time, and then that's when they think something's going to open. What's your prediction on all this?
Well, the issue is healthcare, and the Republicans are trying to pass the continuing resolution on the budget that would continue to eliminate the tax credits for the Affordable Care Act. That would leave millions of Americans without health care. And I just believe that the greatest and wealthiest nation in the history of the world can and should make health care accessible to its people.
But don't you think, it's like both parties have priorities, and we could argue the value of those to the economy, to poor people, to people who need health care. But there's a simple premise to keeping government open, and it seems to hold that hostage for something that you want, no matter how good it is. It seems to take the larger issue off the table and then try to debate that. I just think it's very dangerous to hold so many other things at hostage, because the consequences of those things to human beings at all levels is fairly significant, and it will grow.
I wish the parties would come together and compromise and work out their differences.
So why can't they?
And they're not even talking. That's what's frustrating me.
That's the biggest thing that I'm wondering about.
On radio,
Not to each other.
they're talking.
They're talking at each other, but not to each other. I don't understand why they can't open the government and then continue with this conversation, because it seems like the Democrats keep saying, well, this is the leverage that we have to do it. But believe it or not, I wasn't watching it live, but I saw it on social media. CNN talking about the fact that the Democrats are losing this argument. And I CNN, but he's very animated when he goes through his numbers.
Yeah, the poll guy.
The poll guy, not the Kornacki on MSNBC,
Right. No.
but they've got a guy on CNN who's like, and he is going through all that, and he's talking about the Republican numbers since the shutdown have actually gone up, and the Democrat numbers are going down. And you have an awful lot of people who are saying, look, you're hurting our people the most. You need to open this thing.
Well, here's the thing, too. I think that sometimes you have to let the pain happen. for people to understand how horrible a certain policy is. So the other side of the argument of, hey, this is our leverage as Democrats, that we're going to hold up everything because they're going to do this awful thing. Sometimes you have to let the awful thing happen so that people can differentiate and say, well, this was the Republicans' choice, was to kick all these people off of health care.
But traditionally,
from a political standpoint.
midterms would favor the party out of power, and it very easily would be for them to take one house of Congress and to be able to leverage back. I don't think Ted House would have ever in the Senate done something like this, or Jane Duker would have advised to Governor Holden or Nixon to do this. I think both of you would have said, let's continue to engage, but let's not do anything that would harm anybody. I just think that's the nature of you all, and proven by your records.
Well, and like I said, I mean, there is another political argument that says, let the bad happen, because people right now, I don't think they fully understand how bad kicking all these people off of health care is going to get. And it's going to be, let's face it, the Affordable Care Act put more people on health care, which means our insurance premiums go up less because all of these people are insured, and we're not paying for them to go to the emergency room anymore.
The interesting thing about that is that Hakeem Jeffries was talking about how much the premiums are going to go up. But they come out tomorrow, and from what people are talking about on early numbers, the premiums are actually going down from where they were. And the premiums aren't going up, and if they don't go up, that blows his argument, and they did all this for nothing.
No, if I mean, it depends on whether the people are allowed to enroll and how many people will actually be cut off when.
But don't both of you believe that, I mean, it's been 14 years since we have 16 years since we've substantially addressed health care. And to me, in the fast-changing world, it is almost past its time. In other words, both parties have failed to substantially address health care cost and so many issues related to health care. I mean, I think it's a much larger crisis, and I'm not sure the Democrat position honestly does much to change that dynamic. I mean, it is time for a huge overhaul and a huge discussion about health care in America. And I'm just not sure that anybody's really talking about what needs to be talked about.
Clearly, it's important to get to the bottom of that. But the Trump Big Beautiful Bill that the Republicans passed this summer took away the ACA tax credits, and that will result in millions and millions of Americans being kicked off of health care. And I think that's what the Democrats are trying to protect right now.
Yeah.
The SNAP benefits has been a big part of the conversation that we've been talking about, because I guess as of tomorrow is when those payments stop flowing. And the Democrats, the Missouri Democrats, have made an appeal to Kehoe, and they want Kehoe to solve this problem.
Well, he's helping, but there's no way for the state of Missouri to cover SNAP. There's just no way. We don't have enough money. You could shut state government down tomorrow, and we still would not have enough money to do it. So the best he can do, Kehoe can throw some money, and I think he has shown an intention to do that, and it's appreciated. But we did get a court order that said that the president is required to use, what is it, the sort of rainy day type funds in order to fund SNAP benefits.
Well, he's been using tariff money he's using tariff money to go pay for the SNAP benefits.
Yeah, but I'm having a senior moment. There's a fund that is, that everyone believes he can tap, and he's refusing to because he wants the pain to happen. I do find it interesting that the Republicans keep saying, oh, the Democrats, they want harm to happen. Why do they want to hurt people? Well, I mean, I think that Trump's refusal to use this money for SNAP benefits is to inflict pain so that it will put pressure on the Democrats.
When you get into a crisis, either party can overplay their hand, and I would caution them, especially the cost of people.
I agree with you on that.
And look,
both parties
you
are
and
at risk.
Ted were in politics at a time where Republicans were not relevant, and Republicans would have pulled the same thing as we saw. It was a press conference aimed at a governor who grew up literally his dad left their family, 5 kids with nothing to fend for themselves, and he has that empathy. So it's sort of misaimed, but I get it. When you're not relevant and don't have a voice in a government because of the majority, you look for things to say, but I think it's no more than rhetoric.
Well, you mentioned, David, that when I served in the Senate, we worked across the aisle.
You did.
And
That was allowed back then?
It
You
was
could do that?
it was
Yeah.
a wonderful thing. I had there was a very bipartisan spirit in the Missouri Senate, and I worked with Steve Ailman and Chuck Gross from St. Charles County,
And he would
and
get
others.
criticized by his own party for that crossover. And he didn't have the benefit Jane did. She could come into our office and we could make deals, and we would act like they were against it, and we would defeat them somehow magically. But Ted unfortunately had to prosecute that on the floor and take the credit for it. Jane was much smarter than either you or I, and she was able to come and to make deals to get things done without having to take all the heat from her fellow party.
I just wish the parties could work together today like we did.
It would be
They
something
could.
new.
They're afraid of primaries.
It
This is the whole problem.
It's
Everybody
about
is,
gerrymandering. It's about
it's
being
about
afraid
primaries.
of primaries. Yeah, no doubt.
Elections are a big deal, that's for sure. And August seems to be the only election that matters anymore. Jane Duker is here. Ted House is here. David Barklage. My name is Mike Elam. Sitting in for Mark Reardon today. It's Friday. Happy Halloween. The Reardon Roundtable is on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a stall reported eastbound 44 past 141. Watch for that one in the right lane. And southbound 55 already a slow go as you head down just south of Arsenal through Bates. And then it opens up. 44 is in good shape, 6440. That's a slow go, Kings Highway out through McCausland, a little bit of moderate volume at 270. And then it's slow between Highway N and the 70 split. Now there's an accident reported eastbound 70 headed for Wentzville Parkway. That has created a jam, but in general, 70 looks better than 64 out of downtown. Watch for an accident northbound 270, south of 70. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door, simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. You can't find better quality, prices, or service than at Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas. That's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
From politics to pop culture, Reardon breaks it all down. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
FM Talk. It is Mike Elam sitting in today for Mark Reardon. Thanks for Andy for checking in. We appreciate you. We are doing the Reardon Roundtable. Jane Duker is here as normal on a Friday. Ted House, former circuit judge, Former state rep, state senator. Ted, you've done a little bit of everything.
2 years. I'm grateful for that.
32 years is a long career, brother. That's a good one. And David Bartledge, GOP strategist, a guy who's helped an awful lot of people get into office and stopped a number of other people from getting there. We are all sitting in on the round table on this Friday, thinking about all the candy that we used to steal from our kids. Was there a particular type of candy that you felt like when your kids went trick-or-treating that you needed to inspect when they got home? And by inspect, I mean steal.
Yeah, because we would come home and have a sorting ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
And you sit down and you trade, for
Just
what you
dump
don't
it all
like,
out on
and
the
you
floor?
dump it all out, and me and my brother would just, because my sisters were older than us, so they weren't trick-or-treating anymore. But, yeah, we would sit out there and we would trade, and it was, and I remember To Kill a Mockingbird was always on Halloween night.
Our
And
trick
so,
was to
strange
limit
memory.
the candy they could eat so that we would have more for ourselves.
oh, no question. My mom would be like, I have to hide this. You can't have this much. And then I would go and check and see that much of the candy. Oh, I stole from my kids. I admit it.
I was obligated to make sure that the Twix were
The Twix.
safe for my children.
Yeah.
That is
Milky
that
Way.
is so kind of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
David, what was your candy that you needed to inspect?
Snickers or Reese's peanut butter cups.
Reese's, I'm right there with you. So I saw a thing earlier that said, you don't worry about the Twizzlers because licorice is horrible. And I'm like, really? I like Twizzlers.
The war on licorice?
I'm
Oh
like,
my-
no.
I
Now,
love licorice.
if it's the black licorice, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I have no.
Yeah, I'm
But
But if-
Snickers is the filet mignon of I think, of candy.
Ooh, I'm Rolos. I think Rolos is the gold
Ooh,
standard.
Rolos is something you don't find very often anymore.
Well,
Those-
there's always a few people that like give out full size candy bars.
I know. My
When
wife
you-
started doing that a few
Oh,
years ago, and
yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Are we made of money here? What's going on?
My dad used to haul he had a trucking company here in the city of St. Louis, and he used to haul for Hershey.
Oh.
So he would bring home
Oh,
these
you lucky
full. Oh no, it was obscene.
Why couldn't we have a dad that had a job like
No
that?
kidding.
I'm
I'll tell
telling
you,
ya.
the biggest fraud in marketing is taking the tiny little candy bars and calling them the fun size.
Exactly.
What a crock that is. A fun size candy is a 15-pound block of chocolate. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
Amen.
That's a fun size.
On Brookwood, there were more tricks and treats growing up, but if you put a bowl out and said take one and someone took more than one, we had a hose ready for you.
Ooh.
Oh,
that
nice.
was just for the more kinder things. So I grew
Well, they
up in
deserve
the
that.
rough and tumble suburbs of Cape Girardeau.
Now, so did you two grow up here?
I did.
Ted, did you grow up here?
I started in Lee Summit, moved to Fayette, and then moved to St. Charles in 1986 to practice law.
So when I grew up in Northwest Arkansas, we didn't do this whole you had to tell a joke.
Oh yeah.
That's a St. Louis thing, isn't
it
it?
is. Well, it is very
David,
St. Louis.
Did you have that in southern Missouri?
No, and I'm just thinking about Arkansas and thinking of a joke I could tell, but
Hey,
I'm not
it's,
going to.
It's radio, man. Keep it clean here.
Right. Yeah. No. I grew up with jokes.
Did you
I
have
had to give them, and then I sometimes demand them. Not of the little ones, but the big ones, especially the teenagers, like the 15-year-olds that want candy. Like they got to sing for their
I was
supper.
on a conference call yesterday with a bunch of progressive groups. We were actually working across aisle lines and unions, and I thought it was a funny joke. I said, you all have more packs than you do genders.
Oh,
It didn't seem as funny as to some people, but I thought it was a good Republican joke. I had the same thing when I was at a union event, and I said, you all look like the Republican Party, all male and white.
Oh
And they just
boy.
looked at me. I don't know why you all can't laugh.
Or just
It,
yeah.
it
nothing-
warms my heart, David, to know that you were at labor. You were working with labor, and you were at a
Yes.
union
That's
meeting.
right.
That makes me feel
That's
good.
the better part of the story.
people come together. Speaking of working together and trying to work across, everybody is talking on national elections. Everyone seems to be focused on New York City and looking at what's going on there. Jane looks so excited to talk
Blah,
about
blah,
this topic.
blah. I mean, whatever. It's just he's ridiculous. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to defend him. I'm not going to defend the people that are trying to help him get into office. This is, I don't think he represents Democrats no more than
Mondani, that is.
Right. And I don't think that Bernie Sanders, he isn't a Democrat. So, I think Republicans are going to use this and say this is the face of the Democratic Party, and Democrats are going to have the challenge to say, this does not represent us.
But Ted, don't you think part of this plays into national politics, particularly because Schumer is New York, and he's a senator from New York, and what's going on in New York City is scaring him to death with the power that AOC seems to be getting, especially the fundraising that AOC is seeing out of this whole progressive side and socialist side of the party that's just taking off. And Schumer is scared to death to do anything because he's afraid he's going to get primaried by her.
Well, they're talking about issues in the New York mayoral race that are important to the people of New York,
and no one else cares.
And they're striking some responsive chords with those voters, but I'm sure that my Republican friends will do everything they can to try to paint every moderate Democrat in Missouri with that brush.
David, doesn't it help Republicans next year if Mondavi is the mayor of New York?
It does, but it hurts New York. And again, I think that I could use the partisan stuff and say he's the gift from heaven and he'll keep on giving. But the reality is, him in charge of one of the great cities of America is scary. And
it's terrifying.
And I think the Democrat Party, this is unfortunately means that the Democrat Party will be in, like the Republican Party, a internal fight that will distract it from being able to really be
unified.
Compromising and unified to do good things for the country. It's a terrible distraction.
You can tell that the leadership of the Democrat Party is scared to death on where to go because the leadership is not with him, but they feel like they have to at least placate him because if they don't, they feel like they're going to get attacked.
But don't you all both believe on both the Republican and Democrat side that the politicians on one hand stir everybody up to say, you're Nazis, you're communist. And so why would you not expect the grassroots to then have a reaction? And to me, it's like, someone yelling that there's fire in the crowded theater and then not understanding why everybody is fleeing. And to me, it goes back to the rhetoric of the leadership on both parties. So easy to call names, put labels on people, and that's driving activists to be even more radicalized, and then they turn around and they vote that.
Well, this guy is a socialist. Like it's not. You're not issuing a derogatory term.
Well,
you
he
are
labeled
factually
himself that.
correct. He is factually a socialist.
We could have a very long conversation about the roots and the causes of the polarization and the division in America, and how our leaders fuel that division because they think it benefits them,
or protects them.
And it's a shame because, like you said, the action now in politics largely is in the primaries.
Yes.
And so the Republicans run as far to the right as they can, and the Democrats run as far to the left as they can, and the vast majority of Americans who are in the middle get left out and feel that the government is not responding.
Don't you feel like that's a big reason why a lot of people just don't participate in elections anymore? Because they feel like things have gone so extreme one way or the other that they just don't have a party. I mean, I used to think that there was a third Republican, a third Democrat, and a third in the middle. And I really feel like today there's 20% on each extreme and there's 60% of the middle who go, I don't really feel at home with either one of you anymore.
But that's why
I believe that.
That's why the gerrymandering is so dangerous, because it creates really strong Democrat congressional districts or really strong Republican congressional districts, and then you have to appeal to those extremes to win a primary, and the general elections don't really matter. That's why we've got to have electoral reform when it comes to gerrymandering.
Well, and I also think, too, that I call them the renters. Often the people who are the most radical are the renters, and they only vote in presidential elections, and then they don't show up, midterms and other types of elections. And so, I think it's a major problem. But I do think that this guy is really extreme. And I wish that Democrats would say, this is not us.
This is kind of a broader question and not necessarily a political question. But if Mondavi does win like they're expecting him to win, and he takes over New York City, and he does what I think most of us think, if his plan went into action, would destroy New York City. Because the wealthy people of New York are going to flee. I mean, quickly.
Businesses.
Yes,
I mean, look.
Because they can.
We got rid of our crazy progressives here. I think people in St. Louis got fed up and said, we're done. And,
to your point, sometimes you have to go through the pain to realize what it is. But
well,
David,
and it would be incredibly sad because we're seeing everywhere that these policies don't work.
What do you think it would do to the country to have our largest city and arguably one of the biggest cities in the world to go through something like that?
I think it's a huge setback when municipal officials don't care about roads, policing, crime, the economy. Things fall apart, and it's a lesson that should be obvious. I think it's obvious to everybody here. And the fact is, we need fewer congressmen and more mayors and more county executives and more legislators that are talking about education and not about this cultural war from one direction to the other.
Well, the Democrats have Zoran Mondami and the Republicans have Donald Trump. So
You,
Yeah.
you think that's a
I'll
fair
take that
swap?
comparison.
Yeah, we can win on that one. Hey, it's Jane Duker is here, Ted House is here, David Barklage. My name is Mike Elam. Thanks for spending part of your Halloween with us. By the way, if you need a joke for your kid tonight, my joke that I put up on Facebook today was, what did the ghost say when he woke up with a hangover? Man, I really need to lay off the booze.
Oh, nice.
Thanks for playing. We'll be here till 6. It's Mike Elam on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, Friday afternoon is always an interesting commute. Throw in Halloween and we'll just see what we're going to get. Now, eastbound 70 is already slow, headed for Wentzville Parkway. There was an earlier accident out there. Westbound 70 looks fine out of downtown. Little slow at Lindbergh and at K, and then at Wentzville. But it's not bad. 6440 lines up in Hampton, out through McCausland, and then in pockets west of Winghaven, out through the 70 split. There was an earlier accident northbound 270, a little south of 70, so some volume there. Southbound slowing at 64 and at Doherty Ferry. At 55, slows headed down toward Bates. That, of course, in the construction zone there. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8, jerrykelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. You can take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleanings. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the saving.
Hey, this is Ryan Wiggins. You know I love great deals, and when I find one, I'm going to pass it along. How about 75% off of snacks, chips, and especially Little Debbie products? It's its second-generation distribution in Roxana. I go there all the time. Plus, you can search through while you're there. Their nice selection of toys, electronics, home goods, apparel, all discounted. You're going to love this store Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 301 South Old Edwardsville Road in Roxana, Illinois, or visit them online to see the full inventory. Type in Little Debbie Store Roxana.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio.
See representative for warranty details.
Hey, St. Louis, how would you like to see if you, your family, or employees qualify for a health insurance plan that is open enrollment year-round? Bill Pauly and his team at the Pauly Agency put the sure in insurance. Call to set an appointment at 636-222-2149. That's 636-222-2149.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The time is 3:35. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Still leading 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It is Halloween in St. Louis. My name is Mike Elam. I just love doing that stuff. Sitting in for Mark Reardon today. It's Friday. Happy Halloween, everybody. The Reardon Roundtable is going live right now. Jane Duker is here as always on a Friday. Ted House has joined us. David Barklage has joined us. So I'm one of those people who had a big week. I got directly affected when St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman said, I'm going to run again. And Steve has been a friend of mine for over 20 years. He's been a political mentor, met him through Rotary, and saw his commitment to the community back then. Like Ted, he was a state rep. He was a state senator. Then he became a associate judge, a circuit judge. And for the last 19 years, he's been the county executive of the fastest growing county, the wealthiest county, the healthiest county in the state of Missouri. There's a lot of different accolades. We got to turn that mic on. So there's a lot of different accolades that go there. But Steve decided to jump in, and I decided I'm going to run for re-election on county council and pull out of the county executive race. And I endorse Steve because, in my mind, if Steve Ellman still wants to run St. Charles County, those are probably the best hands that we could possibly have to be there. And I've enjoyed the last 12 years of working with him.
Do you know why St. Charles has created 50,000 jobs, lowest crime rate, and not raised taxes in 20 years?
What would that reason be?
People like yourself, Ted, Steve Ellman. If you look at this region, whether it was Stanger, whether it was Sam Page, whether it has been Tashara, again and again, leaders have gotten in trouble. When's the last time you heard yourself or Ted or Steve Ellman in an ethical conundrum or criminal activity or anything else? You have ethical, strong, dedicated leadership.
And he's dedicated to the region. Yes. He's a Republican, but I adore Steve Ellman. He's honest. He is transparent. He wants to work. He knows. He understands that what is happening in the city, what is happening in the county could easily come to St. Charles if we don't work together as a region to make everything better. And he has always stood up when somebody needed to stand up for the region, he would. And then he always builds a bridge when a bridge needs to be built. And
in some cases, literally
and figuratively. But, these are the kind of leaders, though, that now have to worry about a primary. This is the exact problem we've been talking about, is that, if somebody doesn't go radical, then they face a primary from a radical right-wing person. And I think that it would be a horrible, horrible thing for our region if Steve Ellman were not there.
I did work closely with Steve Ellman to build some bridges into St. Charles County, so over the Missouri River.
Actual ones.
Real bridges, and also some figurative ones, I think. Look, Steve Ellman is one of the most intellectually honest people that you'd ever want to know. He's done a fine job for St. Charles County. We've been friends for almost 40 years.
Wow.
And going back to when we first went into the Missouri legislature. And, he's responsible for a lot of the great things that have happened in St. Charles County. I love the fact that he works and thinks regionally, and frankly, he's stood up to the political infrastructure that's based on the way things were 50 years ago, like there were still 900,000 people in the city of St. Louis.
Right.
And with regard to the poor representation on boards and commissions and East-West Gateway Coordinating Council. And he said it's time, frankly, for the people of St. Charles County who are carrying the freight here and have that population to have their voices heard.
Ted, as old as we've gotten, you still have it. I think that was one of the most insightful things, and that is, I think, and we all agree, I think, that the St. Louis business community somehow believes that the region is St. Louis City. And instead, it is people should be asking Steve Ellman, why are people moving out of St. Louis City to St. Charles? That's what the mayor
They're
should be
skipping
asking.
St. Louis County and going straight to St. Charles. Look at the population.
And Mike, I can't stress enough, you putting aside your career to support Steve is an act that is rare in politics. But, I'm lucky here to be around people that are rare in terms of their actions in politics. But I do think that some people are saying, well, why did Steve change his mind? I don't think it was about him changing his mind as much as his supporters, staff, the business community, so many people, I think, has said, Steve, we're at a critical juncture. There's a lot of changes. We need you one more term. And I don't think he should have to serve one term. I think he has done all his public service, Ted, like yourself and Mike, but sometimes there's that call to duty, and Steve is always going to answer it.
He's not doing this for his own
No.
benefit
never
or
has.
wealth or aggrandizement or his ego. Steve Ellman is doing what he thinks is best for the people of St. Charles County and the St. Louis region.
And we need the stability. I mean, as a city resident and, former longtime county resident, Steve Ellman has been the stable leader. And, I think we have change in St. Louis. It's an upgrade. I expect we're going to have change in St. Louis County. And so I think we need, stability. And it would be a shame to lose that.
Look, and he's got opponents that I think, honestly, Jason Law, I think he's solid. I think he has
Great
also,
guy.
had a great record of public service who would do well. And I'll disagree with some, and I'll probably get, hit. But, Bill Eigel is a very charismatic leader. He's very capable. He has to decide if he's willing to do rather than to talk. And I think truly in his heart he will. But I still think Steve Ellman is the best for the region and the best for St. Charles County. He can really lead St. Charles County, which candidly, the influence of St. Charles County on the region and his influence, finally people listening to him, where he used to be dismissed as that guy from St. Charles, I think his time has come.
The problem is Eigel has set a tone when he was in the Missouri legislature. When he was in the Missouri Senate, there was 2 years where nothing got done. And I think a lot of people see that is not the kind of firebrand leadership that we need right now. And stability is more important than these kind of fights.
I'll tell you Wednesday. So I serve on East-West Gateway Council with Steve. And I was looking around the room Wednesday and just kind of noticing all the change that has happened. Chris Slusher is the new county executive over in Madison County. Great guy, sharp guy, young guy. And I think he's got a strong vision for what he's going to do over in Madison County. I really like working with Kara Spencer. She is very open to ideas. Yep. When people talk to her about things, she's not combative. If she feels strongly about something, she feels strongly about it. But I've appreciated getting to know her and kind of learning more about her.
Has she called you a Nazi once?
Not once, right?
Or a racist?
No. And she and Steve don't fight at everything. I mean, Tashara was at the point where if Steve said the sky was blue, she would say it was green just because he said it was blue. And she may look at it and go, I know it's blue, but I'm never going to agree with Ellman. But I don't know what's going to happen in St. Louis County. There are a lot of people who keep counting Sam out. And I'm not going to put the cart before the horse, but I would say right now, Brian Williams is looking pretty good right there. Dennis Gannon is leaving Jefferson County. He's not running for re-election. He's been a really good servant and a good leader down in Jefferson County. You're going to have somebody new there. Dave Schatz is now he's the presiding commissioner in Franklin County with Tim Brinker leaving and going to Greater St. Louis. You have an awful lot of new leadership around the St. Louis area in executive roles, and I think that's key. As David was talking about, it's different from being a legislator where you can sit in the back and you can throw rocks. And I think that voice needs to be heard in the party. You need to have that voice heard. But as I looked around the room, it just struck me as how many in that room, how they look at Ellman. And they look at Ellman as a statesman. They look at a guy who has experience, and I think they would defer to his opinion. And like Steve talked about when he came out to say, I'm going to run again, one of the reasons why he said he wants to do that is he's never felt more positive about the region, more optimistic about the region. And right now, I think he has a bigger opportunity to put a St. Charles County stamp on this region and bigger influence on this region than we've ever had in St. Charles, Ted.
This region is not going to succeed until it understands what it really is. There is not even a definition of what this region is. GSL has one definition. There's the MSA. There's what East-West Gateway. And so is it St. Louis City? Is it St. Louis City and County? Or is it something much more moderate and much more centrist? But I'll say this. The one thing we missed is you have Mike Kehoe's governor. And St. Louis is tough. If you're not from here, they don't listen. But they listen to Mike, and Mike Kehoe wants to do great things. And Brian Williams, I think, is the kind he's shown in the Senate. He's maybe the Ted House of his generation.
He kind of is.
That he cares more about governing and doing things rather than the culture wars. And he doesn't care about Republicans or Democrats. He wants to govern and make
He'll
things
work with
better.
anyone
I
that
think
has a good idea.
We could have a home run for the region, which it needs, because otherwise it's going the wrong direction.
I agree, and I think that could be a slate that really could put St. Louis back on the map and make people feel like this region is actually coming together and can improve. And the idea that the point you made about legislative versus executive, I mean, you just can't understate that. As someone who served in the executive, as a staffer. They're completely different personalities. They're completely different goals. And we need to start getting rid of all of these flash, cultural issues in local government. If you don't abortion has nothing to do with state and county government. Get back. The voters have said, we want you to get back to core business. And Steve Ellman has been doing core business.
Well, you're right that one of the problems, the difference between being a legislator and an executive is really important. Bill Uggla was a hand grenade thrower in the Missouri Senate and really was unable to accomplish much doing that. I'm concerned, we're fighting for public education. We believe that a thriving community needs great public schools, and the hostility that Uggla has shown towards our public schools really scares me for what could happen.
We're talking, sorry, David, we'll get back to this on the other side. It's the Reardon Roundtable. Jane is here. Ted House is here. David Barclage. My name is Mike Elam. Thanks for spending part of your Halloween with us on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Not a bad commute out there so far, but we just had an accident reported, and this was southbound 55 near 7th Street. Now, this one just coming in, and they are saying multiple lanes blocked. So if you are on the area that's just south of the Poplar Street Bridge, watch out for that. I am looking at the cameras to see if I can see it, and I haven't found that at all. Just bear that in mind. It has been reported. Now, as far as volume, we definitely have some on southbound 170 headed for 64. Westbound 40 lines up from Kings Highway out through McCausland. We've got northbound 270 slowing at Dorset. And southbound, moderate volume south of Page down through Doherty Ferry. Now out west, 70 moderate volume Highway K out through the 70 split. And 64, that's a slow go west of Wing Haven out through 70. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
25 years of 97.1 in St. Louis. Here's Jimmy Fallon.
Danny Fry, Mark Cox. I mean, you guys have a stacked deck. You got that Jimmy Fallon guy later in the day, but you know what? You drink a little bit at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, you'll get through a show. Congrats on 25 years.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. As we get colder weather moving into St. Louis and into Missouri, you don't want the power knocked out. Let's be honest. You don't want the power knocked out at any time, but think about it like when it's really hot over the summer or when it's really cold. That's the last time you want the power to go out. I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. These are high-quality generators. You never have to worry. Even if you're away from home, the Generac generator will kick right in. So whether it's a long outage, severe storms, ice storms here in the Midwest, down lines, it doesn't matter. Don't depend on the utilities. Put yourself into a position where you get peace of mind with a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter of St. Louis, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. Call 314-499-2020. Financing is available. Call for a free estimate today or visit GeneratorSupercenterofSt.Louis.com.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair,
Then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's the Reardon Roundtable on 97.1 FM Talk. Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today. Gene Duker is here. Ted House, David Barklage. So, Jane, you're a city resident now.
I am.
You've got to be proud to see that your sheriff went to jail.
Yep.
It's
It's
never
really
a good
awesome,
day
isn't it?
in law enforcement when your
No.
sheriff goes to jail.
But, as I've always said on this program, law enforcement officers, they don't want the bad ones around any more than anyone else. And this guy is just unstable. And the idea that you would mess around with the feds and you go get a burner phone in order to talk to witnesses, I don't know what passes through your brain as that being a good idea. So, the judiciary is going to, have to save the city of St. Louis citizens from Alfred Montgomery. But I just want you to know, this was a Megan Green. This is this radical left group again. This is who put this guy up. And, how many more examples do we need that the radical progressive stuff is not working anymore?
Well, it may not be working in St. Louis, but I think Parson administration showed with the appointment of Gabe Gore that when you have a failure in local government, and Republicans have got to get past their local government that we shouldn't get involved. You've got to get involved in local government when it is necessary.
When they're
In that
the
regard,
economic engine of the
a correction
state.
needed to happen, and they did. And I think the same thing with the sheriff.
I agree.
Is that Mike Kehoe will pick someone that I believe will reflect the best for St. Louis City, but it goes back to the structural problem of the city and county, this duplicative government, inefficient. Government structure in St. Louis City is going to keep it from, I think, turning it around. And
well, they missed the best opportunity when they had the Charter Commission to get rid of. Look, this sadly, and being in government for 30 years, being a government lawyer for 30 years, this government is organized to fail. Okay, it is a structural problem that cannot be fixed without substantial change. And for all of these people who name themselves progressives, they're protecting the status quo.
Well,
and that is what's bringing us back. And it's holding us back. So, the idea that and did you see, the relief money to the tornado victims, they can't get it out because the government is structured in a way to make it impossible to help these people in a timely manner.
Well, part of the question, though, David, you said that Kehoe's going to pick someone to replace.
There's a dispute about that.
Now there's a question about, okay, who gets to pick the new sheriff? And the mayor has said that it needs to be her, Megan Green, and
the board. Some people say it's the board. Some people say it's the mayor. Some people say it's the governor. So I'm imagining that the judiciary is going to,
the
have
judiciary
to decide that.
But look, if it's Kehoe, he's going to be collaborative,
right?
And
he's shown that,
and because he cares, he wants someone that people can come together on and do a good job. And so, if I were the mayor and them, I would let the governor take the lead to the extent that then, if it's a bad pick, then they can blame him. But candidly, for the people and for the interest of the people, having the governor who doesn't have entanglements that might complicate who the person is picked, I would have the governor do it, just as Governor Parson picked Gabe Gord.
Ted, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm not involved with the city of St. Louis sheriff, but
you're welcome.
I can tell you though that as a circuit judge and the presiding judge of the 11th Judicial Circuit in St. Charles County, I am eternally grateful to our sheriff and our sheriff's department, to the corrections officers and to the bailiffs that kept us and the public safe and did a masterful job for the 18 years in which I was in the St. Charles County.
It shouldn't be that hard. Really, this is a basic, this is a basic function. Alfred Montgomery went around and said he was going to save the world. And it's like, you know what? Transport the prisoners, keep the court safe. He has a terrible relationship with the judiciary. That's not the way it should be.
But you know what? This goes back to the region. I don't think St. Louis is capable of changing St. Louis. I think it's going to take the region.
So we only have just a few seconds left. David, what are you doing for Halloween?
Eating candy. and nursing my wife back to health.
Oh, there you go. Well, I hope she heals quickly. Ted, what's going on at the house?
Oh, my wife is visiting her brother in Texas, so I'm just going to stay home.
He's
and
batching it.
He's batching it.
pass out candy to the neighbors' kids.
So
There you go.
you leave the light on and give out the candy, the fun size or the full size?
There's no fun size in our house. It's got to be the big candy bars.
How about
What's
you,
your
Jane?
address? What's your
I'm
address?
making,
Put it on air.
Yeah, I'm making homemade chicken pot pie and having friends and family over and giving out kids to the babies.
Jane, you're so much fun.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks for being a part of our roundtable on a Halloween. Jane's going to stick around for a little while. Ted, David, thanks very much. You guys have a great holiday. It's Mike Elam on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for a stall. It looks like it's a stalled tractor trailer eastbound 44 past 141. They're on the right side. Well, that's going against rush hour, so things look fine through there. We've got northbound 55 in good shape, but southbound, of course, slowing at Bates. And an accident reported southbound Highway 21 before you get to West 4 Ridge Road, if that helps. Southbound 270, some moderate volume in pockets. And this is approaching Olive down through Doherty Ferry, again at Gravois. Southbound 170 jams at 64. Northbound 270 slowing around Dorset. We had an incident reported there. And out west, 70, maybe some moderate volume headed for Wentzville from O'Fallon. But it's 64 that's lined up Highway N out through the 70 split. No problems on the Poplar Street Bridge, but 44 westbound slow in front of the Arch Grounds. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. Hold on, let me make sure. On 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Climate Masters. We specialize in older homes. Climate Masters Heating and Cooling. Trusted heating and cooling installation and maintenance service. Keeping the St. Louis Metro comfortable since 1978. Call us today at 314-968-8383. Climate Masters.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the law offices of Susan L. Ward, LLC. And I always say, if you need a divorce attorney, I have a place you can turn. I kind of hope you don't, because it's a tough area of the law. But again, the lesson that I learned a couple of decades ago when I went through this is make sure you have a team that has experience. And that's exactly what Susan and her office really offers to you here in St. Louis, doing this for 2 decades plus. They have a brand new office location, actually, in De Pere, near Manchester and 270. I know that Susan, we had her on recently, is very, very proud of the new location. Susan's also rated AV Preeminent by Martindale-Hubbell. That's the highest peer rating an attorney can receive. It shows that an attorney, Susan, has reached the height of professional excellence. She also has the distinction of being the youngest family law attorney in Missouri to get that AV rating. So if you need help in this particular area of the law, she can help you. Contact them today. Visit the new office, 314-783-9400. The focus on family law, the emphasis on you, Susan L. Ward, STLFamilyLaw.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
This is Todd Krentz with Krentz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we have helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Selling your business is a major milestone. Before and after the sale, our role is to help cut through complexity and create a clear financial strategy focused on your legacy. We often coordinate with your attorney and CPA to ensure everything is aligned so your plan not only fits today, but continues working for you in the future. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Let's support our first responders. Enter Responder Rescue's ATF raffle. Prizes include top shelf bourbon, a lit cigar lounge VIP night, and a CZ P10 pistol from the range. Text Responder to 33100 to enter today.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Food assistance is on the line. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, with SNAP benefits set to lapse beginning tomorrow.
The administration has done all it can to keep this program afloat, but the limits have been reached here.
House Speaker Mike Johnson alongside the Agriculture Secretary, who still says there's a legal reason contingency funds can't be tapped right now to run the program during the government shutdown. Two federal judges disagree, ordering the Trump administration to keep it going.
A judge in Rhode Island ruling the program must be funded using at least the contingency funds. And a judge in Massachusetts gave the Trump administration until Monday to say whether it would partially pay for the benefits for November with contingency money or fully fund them with other funds.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin appeals are possible. Meantime, with the shutdown entering its second month, still no plans for high-level meetings.
President Trump says he'll meet with top Democrats to talk about health care tax credits only after they approve a short-term government spending bill.
Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly. But they have to open up the country. Democrats want an extension of tax credits for Affordable Care Act health plans as part of a spending deal. President Trump is urging Republican leaders to eliminate the 60-vote filibuster threshold in the Senate to end the shutdown, a move top Senate Republican John Thune rejects.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. The president losing another round in the fight to require proof of citizenship on the federal voter registration form. A federal judge in D.C. just ruling that cannot be enforced, calling it an unconstitutional violation of the separation of powers. The FBI just confirming the man who opened fire in a Michigan church, then set it on fire in September, was motivated by anti-religious beliefs. 4 people were killed in the attack at a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints before the gunman was killed by responding law enforcement officers. America is listening to Fox News.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Hard to believe it is Halloween and we're ending the month of October and getting into November this week. Sunshine breezy, near 60, so mainly in the 50s this afternoon. Trick-or-treat time right around 50 degrees, partly cloudy skies, a cold 39. Partly sunny on Saturday, maybe a sprinkle, but tough to find, 55. 37 Saturday night and Sunday, sunny and 59. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's the Mark Reardon Show, a Halloween edition on 97.1 FM Talk. like, hey, I was trying to find Good Morning America, and it's not even available. From 7 to 8, she'll watch Good Morning America, and then at 8 o'clock, she flips over and watches Bill and Dana on Fox News. So she's got a routine, and it really threw her off. But I'm like, hey, tomorrow, SEC Network, Disney Network, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN News, all of those networks disappeared. So college football tomorrow, college football tomorrow could be very interesting.
And they're still in negotiations.
Yeah.
They're still negotiating, but I think I have ESPN Plus and Disney, so I think even though I have YouTube TV, I should be able to watch them in the app, right?
Nope. In the app.
Because I subscribe to. I have a bundle.
But I don't know. Do you get to watch all of the ESPN networks if you have ESPN Plus?
Yeah. Well, if you have the Disney bundle. You do.
Okay.
Yeah, I have Hulu, Disney, and ESPN.
I do too. I have the same thing.
So I may be because if we can't watch the games, there will be a crabby crowd.
So what was interesting is Disney or YouTube TV actually sent out an email earlier today that said, "Hey, we're in discussions with them. If we can't get this worked out, we're going to give you a $20 credit on your bill." Which, by the way, they also say, and if you want to watch the ESPN networks, you can go buy the ESPN package. And for us, the Disney bundle is actually cheaper than the $20.
Yeah.
So part of me says, you know what? Screw them. Give me my $20 and I'll go buy my
and that
network.
pays for my bundle.
It does. So then I'm like, I'm okay with that all of a sudden. Ethan, what were you about to say?
What was I going to say?
Sorry, man. Didn't mean to finish that.
Here's what I was going to say. As frustrating as this is, I'm in the amazing spot, recently married now in the past year and a half, where I just mooch off of my parents and my in-laws. My in-laws have YouTube TV, but guess what? My parents' side has direct TV. So normally in this situation, oh my gosh, this is just unbelievable. But now I get to log into DirecTV streaming, and I'm just going to watch the games through that.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. I didn't even know you could stream DirecTV.
It is.
You can.
DirecTV stream is a thing now.
Okay.
You can do it all
through
still get it
now.
at Hulu Live. You can also get the games through there.
Yeah.
So if you want to switch to that package.
But this is just unbelievable. It's ridiculous.
Well, but here's a great idea. If you're going, well, I don't really want to cancel my YouTube package, but I want to be able to watch the games. There is a preview that you can do for free. So if you want to get Hulu Live, you can do that tomorrow morning in time to watch game day. You can do your 7-day preview, so that way it'll get you all the stuff. And I'm guessing, kind of like the November 4th elections and getting the shutdown done, we'll get past the window of their negotiation, and then you're in.
Boy, this is our new life. It used to be they'd argue with the cable companies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You'd see billboards.
Well,
we can't work
because
this
it affected everybody.
And exactly. And now there's just no escape from it. It just goes from streaming, from live TV to streaming to it just keeps going on.
Well, and people, I think the more you confuse customers about when something is working and where you get to watch something,
right.
I think you lose them. I think when they try to put baseball games on, Prime or on Apple, well, people aren't necessarily, so you're just confusing the consumers.
I could see that. Fred, who's your service?
We do AT&T Uverse.
Okay, so you're good.
You're golden.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that. Well, where I started with that whole point is not only is it Halloween tonight, tomorrow night we're supposed to get an extra hour of sleep.
Yay.
We're going to fall back. And we're going to talk with Dr. Siler at SSM, who is a sleep specialist at 5:30 tonight. Do you ever feel like you get that hour? Like when you fall back, do you ever feel like you get that?
I do not.
Well,
See, I don't
build it
either.
in. I feel much better after the fall back than I do from the spring forward. The spring forward whacks me out for a good week or two.
Fred?
Oh, wow, a week or two.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and that seems to be the case. I mean, obviously, it's easier to do the fall back.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't affect me too much. But
See,
there are still some things that Dr. Siler will tell us about later this afternoon.
What messes with me, Sue, I don't know if you have this, but it gets dark so early.
I hate it.
Yeah,
It just throws me off.
It's depressing.
So it's
I
dark
hate
when
it.
I wake up and it's dark when I go home, and I feel like, hey, I just missed all the sunshine.
I thought that maybe it was good for people. When I get up, it's dark. Doesn't matter. because it's 4:45.
Well, that's true. You
so
work that
I'm
split
unaffected,
schedule.
and then the only thing that I see is it getting dark like midnight at 4:45 at the afternoon, and I just hate it.
I do too. But I will tell you, so I have a solar array on my house. Way back when, in 2014, when Ameren was offering
credits.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they paid 2/3 of the cost of my solar array on my house.
Oh, my gosh.
So I have a 15 kilowatt solar array. I haven't paid an electric bill since 2014.
Nice. Wow.
Right? It worked. They put this huge solar array on because the guy said you can put a solar array on that covers up to 90% of your electric bill. So whatever that is, we can put that on your house. So it was $46,000 in 2014.
Jeez.
Ameren paid $30,000 of that.
Wow.
Right?
Oh, well, that's that's.
I
kinda
was
worth it.
figuring my break even on what my budget billing was back then.
Yeah.
My break even on that whole thing was 6.5 years. So I passed that 5 years ago.
Wow, that's great,
right?
Mike.
So
Now you're playing for free.
you are. I'm playing with house money, baby.
That's nice.
So the interesting thing about that is when you have the summer months when everybody else is paying $300-400 a month in electric bill, I'm just coasting. But I'm building up a credit because when we go to next week and it gets darker more, as we start to get those winter hours, you don't have the sunshine.
Yeah.
When you don't have the sunshine, you don't have the electric that comes with it. Now, you're not running the air conditioner.
I was
and we
gonna
have
say,
gas
but
heat.
it happens in winter, so yeah.
We have gas heat, so it doesn't affect that a little bit. I know this is way too much that I'm
No, I
sharing
find
to
it.
God
I
and
actually find
everybody,
this
but
interesting.
it-
Yes.
And this all makes my head hurt.
Oh, well, not Fred.
I'm looking forward to hearing what the doctor has to say at 5:30 because I never feel fully rested. I never feel like I got that hour back.
Yeah.
I actually feel better with jumping forward because there's so much more
Sunshine.
sunshine. Yeah.
Yes, I'm with
if
you.
I have sunshine, I don't need as much sleep. But when it's not sunny,
And I think what he's going to say is in the move to get one time zone for all of us, it's going to be the one we're coming up to. Standard is the one that the sleep experts say is best for our bodies.
as long as we get to one, I'm good. But I can
Same.
guarantee you, my dog is not going to change her rhythm.
No.
And Sunday morning, she's going to be popping up at like 4:30 instead of 5:30,
Yep.
and she's going to be, "Hey, it's breakfast time. Let's eat. I got to pee. Let's go outside." Hey, we've got Sue's News coming up on the other side, so stick around for that. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, the commute on a Friday is not too bad, at least right now. But, of course, Halloween may be affecting that. If you're westbound on 70 out of downtown, a little bit slow at Jennings Station Road and at 141, and maybe a pocket or two through O'Fallon out through Wentzville. There was an accident reported on westbound 270 just past 170, and that's created a jam in that area. Westbound 6440 slowing about Hampton now, out through McCausland. And southbound 55 is slowing, especially as you head toward Bates. But then once you get past there, it's not too bad. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis. It's full of the latest, most custom designs. It's in Chesterfield Valley, and there you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game, stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, we're the home run hitters you need. Morgan & Morgan, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Make the most of fall and have an outdoor space that you actually love that's built to last. Lakeside Renovation and Design builds custom decks, screened-in porches, covered patios, and they use these durable, low-maintenance materials like composite decking and aluminum railings. They're going to make sure you have the perfect setup so you can host your family and friends for backyard barbecues or just sit outside and enjoy the morning coffee even when it's raining. Don't wait until the spring to start planning the space that you want to enjoy next year. Start with a free consultation. Visit lakesiderd.com, lakesiderd.com.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. The Federal Reserve just dropped interest rates again, and that means you can save even more money on your mortgage. If you've been waiting for the right time to refinance, this is it. Our customers are saving hundreds, even thousands every month. What could you do with an extra $1,000 every month? You can also pull cash out of your home's equity to pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or just get ahead. If you refinance now, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll even pay for your appraisal. But don't wait. Rates can rise again anytime, and they change fast. For today's rate, call Golden Oak Lending now at 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
Hi, this is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, certified financial planner, and the host of the Jill on Money podcast. This is the show where your money is not scary. It's a show that's all about you. It's your questions that make it possible for me to provide unconventional and entertaining insights on your money, and more importantly, on your life. Listen and follow Jill on Money on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Reardon's back. Smarter talk for the Show Me State. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It is the Mark Reardon Show on a Halloween edition. Mike Elam sitting in for Mark today. Fred is stepping in. Jane is still here for a little while longer before she steps out and starts making her chicken pot pie.
I'm ready for it, too.
I love that thing.
I know. It's nice, good comfort food.
Do you know what one of my favorite times is by doing the Friday show?
Yeah.
It's right now. Do you know why?
Oh, I do.
Because it's Sue's News.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News, presented by U.S. Men's Medical Center.
On this day in history, 27 years ago, in 1998, Kiss kicked off its Psycho Circus tour with a Halloween extravaganza in L.A. Now, their opening act was Smashing Pumpkins, and since it was Halloween and all the pumpkins came dressed up as the Beatles, Kiss, of course, came as Kiss. Now, the concert was also the first to be presented with a 3D viewing screen.
Ooh.
I think I remember that.
Do you? I
vaguely.
I vaguely had something about that, yeah. And
so
then
pause to Ace Frehley, who just passed away.
Yeah. You know what? I have somebody in my neighborhood who I think has a 3D printer because the day after Ace passed away, he had up a gravestone in his Halloween thing that said Ace Frehley.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, dang, you're printing all that. He's got a whole graveyard thing going.
No way.
But I was like, wow.
Okay.
That's pretty
some
cool.
Serious stuff. And 19 years ago, in 2006 was when Bob Barker announced he was retiring from The Price is Right. And he hosted that show. I do this, of course, for George Gray, who didn't work with him, but I just have an affinity for The Price is Right now. And Bob Barker hosted that show for how many years?
Oh, Lord.
What is your guess?
32.
That's a good guess. Fred?
34.
37.
Higher or lower?
40.
Oh, sorry, different show.
35 people, right?
Hey!
In the middle.
Wow.
Bob Barker hosted that dang show for 35 years, and then he passed away last year. All right, we've got a little bit of a theme for old Halloween going, but first I have to mention, well, let me see. I'll go with the Halloween first. All right, the National Retail Federation has listed the top Halloween costumes this year for kids. Now, we've got all this stuff going on. You think, ooh, is it going to be something? You know what it is? Number one, Spider-Man.
Oh, I love that.
Spider-Man. Number two,
classics.
Princess. Number 3, witch. Number 4, ghost. Number 5, general superhero.
You remember when we were little and you had like those little plastic masks with
yeah.
little rubber band that would break all the time?
Yes.
Those are the kind of like cheap little costumes that we used to have. Now people spend hundreds of dollars and go to Johnny Brock's and look authentic, man.
Or they make them. I mean,
yeah, that's
like
true.
they do a full DIY situation.
Oh, my goodness.
I was never creative. I was just like Albert Pujols or Yadier Molina, like every single
Every
year.
year.
Like I'm just gonna be like
Shocker.
favorite Cardinal player, like change every year.
There's always somebody who does something like they wear a hoodie and then they claim that there's something unique and different. I'm like, no, you're just lazy.
I loved getting. My mom would do the makeup and she would give me like the facial hair that Albert and Yadier.
That's something. That's
Nice.
something.
I was a quarter one year. I drew a
You were a quarter?
Hey.
I just drew, I drew like 2 big round pieces of cardboard and tried to like draw a quarter.
I
Now
think
there's
that's
only a
kinda
quarter of you
great.
left.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
right?
gosh. That's really adorable.
It was pretty ugly, I'm sure.
I like Jimmy Walker on Good Times, and I made myself into a stick of dynamite.
Dynamite!
I love that.
Yes.
That's very
awesome.
cool.
With a fuse that came off the top.
Very
oh,
cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's see. For adults, this is the list of top Halloween costumes this year. For adults, number 6, Superman. If you're an adult being Superman,
You're
well,
weird.
I don't know. It depends on how
little
hardcore you
weird.
go. We had somebody yesterday who did it underneath his outfit, just had the S. That's better. But if you're
Okay.
walking around with fake muscles, let's
In the
talk
tights.
What
about
if they
it.
are?
So-
What
Yeah.
if they're real muscles? What if you can pull it off?
That's
Still no?
no.
That's
That, that,
for a
that could
Hallow-
almost be
For a
worse.
Halloween party?
That could almost be worse. It's a little weird.
So
It's a
one
little,
year, working for a radio station, one of the things that my general manager had us do, he paid for us to get outfits from Johnny Brock's.
Oh.
And we all got these outfits. And
Trade.
I dressed, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I dressed up as Superman
Oh.
for that year, right? But my oldest son was Batman. No, was he? My oldest son was Batman, and my younger son was Spider-Man. And I wore that, and we went trick-or-treating together.
All right. Well, that's a little bit better.
That was fun.
All
that
right,
was my
that's
most
fine.
memorable Halloween with the boys.
Number 4 for adults is a cat or Batman. I'm not sure how those are related, but okay.
Catman.
Catwoman?
I guess. And number 3, pirate, the classic. Number 2, vampire, and of course, number 1 for adults, witch.
That's because they can be trampy.
Right. It's just
we all
an
just
excuse
agree
to be trampy.
Like, it's just an excuse
Yes.
to be trampy. That's
Hey.
what the cat,
100%.
the witch,
Yes.
it's all,
Fred,
to
do
be
you remember who
trampy.
was a witch at our Halloween party yesterday?
I know.
I do not.
It was our boss, Trisha.
But she wasn't trained.
No, I thought she was.
No, it's just.
Yeah.
You
I
can
started
be
to say,
non-trampy.
She was not.
I'm just here part-time, man, but I'm like, be careful. Whatever
Yeah.
you're about to say, be careful.
Hey, I was stating facts that Trisha was our boss, was a witch, and you just happen to be saying these things about
I
people
see.
that dress up as
No,
witches.
I just said it's an excuse. I did not
Correct.
say that everyone did that.
Public
Correct.
service announcement.
Yes.
Halloween parties are designed to be fun, not to create HR incidents.
And
Correct.
for pets, the number 1 costumes this year, number 5 is a bat.
Mm.
All
Oh,
right.
no, those are so cute. I've seen the dog costumes with the bat.
I
It's
don't
really
think I
cute.
could get a bulldog into that. And
Yeah,
number
probably not.
4 is a tie between a ghost or a superhero. I do like the ghost. It's cute.
Yes.
Number 3, bumblebee. Number 2, hot dog for the dachshunds.
Sure.
Very cute.
And number 1 is a pumpkin.
Oh, that's
Ah.
sweet.
How about
That's
a,
kinda
how about a
cute.
ladybug?
Oh, that's
Oh.
cute.
my
That's
my
cute.
parents' dog,
No.
Was a ladybug.
Coco, was a little ladybug.
Hey, my dog's name is Coco.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh.
And speaking of Halloween, I did not mean to say I was giving out children. I did
Good to
say
know.
that.
Yeah, you
I
did get
did
caught,
say
didn't
that.
you?
I'm giving out kids for babies.
Yeah,
What?
I did not.
You
Yeah, I
did
meant
what?
Speaking of
candy for the
HR,
babies.
She's going younger.
Well, and according to a survey, I did find this a little bit surprising. Most single people say the loneliest holiday is Halloween.
Really?
Really?
They say 57% say it's actually worse than Valentine's Day.
Wow.
And in a
That's
related story, I guess it's because people are getting together and you don't want to answer the door by yourself. You
They
want
do
to be more.
They do the costumes
Yeah.
together. That's why.
Is that why?
I think that's why. I think people do the costumes together and they make it a big thing on social media.
Oh, that
if you
could
don't
be.
have that,
okay.
then why am I even dressing up? And
Yeah,
I think
that's
what it
probably
is.
right. In a related story, a new app called Endless Summer uses AI to create fake photos so it looks like you went on vacation. And there's a Halloween mode that puts you in costume So it looks like you dressed up and went to a party, so you can use that if you need it. Just a little hot tip.
Wow.
Okay.
If you're going to fake it to make it.
It's FOMO, baby.
That's
it
the
is
only
FOMO.
way I'll dress up.
Fred, same. Well, I've got a monkey story. I do hate it when Reardon isn't here for a monkey story. So let me go to this one. There is a guy who launched a Kickstarter for a 6-pound iPhone case. Now, here's my visual. Oh, you see it?
Yeah.
A 6-pound
Now,
iPhone case.
He wants to make it. The idea is it's so heavy, you can't use it for very long. He's trying to get himself off the phone.
Wow.
So what he did was he got the idea by strapping his iPhone to a 5-pound dumbbell to cure his phone addiction. And the dumbbell version didn't work because, well, it blocked the camera and it's a dumbbell.
Right.
Just pointing that out.
Kind of like the person who put that idea together.
Possibly.
Wow.
Now, the official version is 6 pounds of stainless steel. And if you want to remove it, you have to use an Allen wrench and remove 4 different screws. So you got to really want to get that thing out of there. He used a 3D printer for the prototype. It kind of looks like an old 80s brick phone. He says that's intentional. Well, right now he's got $16,959 put to the Kickstarter, but he's hoping for $75,000.
But still, he's raised $16,000. I find that extraordinary.
I do too.
What office is he running for?
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
All right, here's my monkey story.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she's giving it to us.
Wow,
That's
gave
good.
up.
A pet monkey got loose from its owner inside a Spirit Halloween store in Plano, Texas, which, as I understand it, is kind of like Johnny Brock's, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, the pet monkey spent more than 30 minutes swinging from the rafters and the poles, and at first people weren't sure it was real because it's almost Halloween, and they're like,
right.
wait a minute.
Is this some kind of like,
it's like a
wow.
stunt?
Decoration?
Like a robot
right.
or something.
Right. Most things in Spirit are not real, but there was apparently one dead giveaway. It was wearing a diaper.
Oh, nice.
Witnesses say the monkey got spooked by an animatronic display inside the store and got away from its owner. Jane, have you seen these? We made people watch these yesterday, where on its Instagram, it's everywhere, where like a possum will come up. They've got a Ring doorbell on somebody's candy bowl, and a possum will come up, or a raccoon to take something, and then an animatronic will move in the background and scares the crap out of them.
It's pretty
The
fun.
possums roll over and play dead.
Yes.
So it was one of those things.
Why would you take your monkey to a store like that?
Why would you have a monkey?
Well, that's a broader question.
Yes.
Come on, Michael Jackson, what are you thinking?
Witnesses say the employees were told to corral it, but they weren't able to corral the monkey, and the police were called. Eventually, the monkey's owner was able to bribe it down with a cookie.
It was a monkey's uncle.
And the monkey was not hurt, and neither was anybody in the store. Officers say no humans were actually in danger, but a few customers did run out of the store while this was happening, like any kind of creature with an animatronic thing would have in this situation.
By far the best part of that story is that they brought it in with a cookie. I mean, like,
You're right.
come
After
on,
all
like,
that, you couldn't do that
In the
within the
beginning.
first 10 minutes.
Right. You have to call the police. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
uh-huh.
like, police can do a lot of things, but the whole catching of the monkey thing, I don't
Oh,
understand.
right, I don't get it. Now, a study at San Diego State, another study of the obvious, found that as we move into winter, warm drinks might be better for your mental and physical health. Want to write that down? I can't even.
Statement of
These
the
come out
obvious.
all- I'm just like,
Can I get
oh.
paid to do that study?
Right. People who drank a lot of hot beverages in winter tended to have fewer issues with depression and insomnia. Okay. And finally, in Sue's News, we have today's random fact. A full moon on Halloween is not a common occurrence. It only happens every 18 to 19 years. The last one was in 2020, and the next one will be in 2039. This year, when we look up tonight, the moon will be about 70% illuminated.
Wow.
Cool.
And that's it for Sue's News.
Jane, it was good to see you.
I know. Thanks for having me
Enjoy
again.
your Halloween.
I
And Paul Hall is coming up on the other side.
With your money now. Shares of Rubbermaid parent Newell Brands cratered off 28%.
after the company cut its fiscal forecast. It recently hiked prices on a wide range of products, including Sharpie and Yankee Candle products, due to the impact of tariffs. Newell now expects full-year sales to be off about 5%. Amid an uncertain economy, a growing number of home purchases are falling through. Citing data from Redfin, the Wall Street Journal reports that about 15% of home purchase agreements were canceled in September, up from roughly 13.6% a year earlier. This amid an intensifying standoff between buyers and sellers in a largely stalled housing market. You might see a bigger tax refund in early 2026. Retroactive changes made for this year could mean some people overpaying due to the fact that tax withholding tables haven't been updated by the IRS for 2025. Stocks rallied in the afternoon to finish higher. The Dow Industrial Average up 40 points, the NASDAQ up 143. That's your money now.
Pure opportunity. It's what Michigan is all about. The opportunity to do more. The opportunity to connect with the best talent. The opportunity for people of all backgrounds to grow and expand their business. The opportunity to live and work in a state where paychecks go further. The opportunity is now, and it's right here in Michigan. Visit MichiganBusiness.org to discover all the ways the Michigan Economic Development Corporation can help your business thrive.
At Bank of America, we asked our teammates, what makes this company a great place to work?
There's very little that you can't accomplish working for Bank of America.
If you prove yourself, you can try over in a totally new way.
You can learn so much here. You're the owner of your career.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at the Retirement Advisory Group. That's Thomas Helbig and his nephew Bob Kershaw, Bob's wife Tammy. It's a family-run and operated operation. Now, look, they offer something a little different than some of the brokerage firms here in St. Louis, and that's what we try to point out at the seminars that we do, that Thomas and the team hosts, that we kind of co-host with them 5 times a year. If you're interested in coming up with a game plan to make sure that you can still pursue the retirement of your dreams, look, there's lots of weird stuff going on right now, especially with AI starting to take over. What does that mean for your portfolio? Well, the official financial advisors of this show, and Mark's show in the morning and Annie's as well, they can guide you through that. And if you make an appointment one-on-one, we'll do the seminars again next year, but you don't have to wait for that. You just go one-on-one in the office, make an appointment. They'll get you a free copy of their latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Get on the horn today, 314-993-9494. The website, retirementkey.com, for Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The time is 4:33. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
It is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Mike Elam sitting in for Mark today. Happy Halloween. I know, I sat down, so that just threw the camera completely off, didn't it? It's when the video doesn't work on radio. That's a weird sentence, by the way.
It is.
Sue, who would have known that being a radio person, you were going to get to have video?
Not me.
Didn't the Buggles say that video killed the radio star?
Yes, they did.
And yet, here we are.
Yes.
And we're all back. I told my son when he was talking about, before he started college years ago, And he said, I'm going to major in radio. And I said, the hell you are. You're going to learn how to do video. And he said, why do I want to do video? I said, son, the radio station has video people now. That tells you all you need to know about why you need to learn to do video, which is great. Hey, Paul Hall is on the line with us. Paul, how are you, sir?
You know, and that's why I went into print publishing, because print never dies, right?
Exactly. That is something that's going to be with us forever.
Oh, boy.
It's like cursive writing, right? It's all going to stay.
Radio outlasted print, that's for sure.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hey, man, it's good to talk to you. I haven't been on here a while. I haven't had the opportunity to fill in, especially on a Friday. But I'm so excited that I get to talk to you because a couple of years ago, you turned me on to this new series that was out that was called The Diplomat. And season 3 of The Diplomat just came out a couple weeks ago. And I couldn't wait for it to come out. And I sat down and watched the whole thing in one weekend. And it was just like,
wow.
I know. When I run into stuff like that, I'm really excited, Paul, when they put it all out at one time. Because then I can sit down and just binge till my heart's content and be done with the series. But I really like that show. Are you still up on that one, or have you moved on?
You know, I have so much to see. I haven't truly moved on. I go back and check out things when they hit new seasons. In fact, you know, one of the ones I think I put a lot of people on last summer is got a new season now. They just announced for January, Hijack. They're going to have a second season of that with Idris Elba coming over to Apple TV Plus, and that one is going to take place on a train. Hijack took place on a plane. Now it's going to take place on a train coming in January. So I will go back to these series all the time and see how season 2 and season 3 and season 4. I mean, Stranger Things has a new season out, and I have to confess, that's one I haven't been up on, but it's a good title for Halloween for sure.
You know, sometimes you put down things that are coming up, and I'm like, man, that really just slaps me in the face that I'm old. And one of those is Back to the Future 40th anniversary is coming back to theaters.
We are old. I'm telling you, I'm with you on that one. 40th anniversary, going back in time. And earlier this year, they had the 50th anniversary of Jaws in theater, and this was a great chance to get out and see a remastered print. Looked great, sounded amazing, and of course I had to go out and do that, so I did that immediately. Today launches Back to the Future's 40th on the big screen. So for those kids that you have that haven't got to ever see it in that format, this is your chance to see a new remastered print. There's all kinds of swag involved out there. You can get a lot of the theaters I know are doing like special movie cups and popcorn buckets and all kinds of cool stuff. You can go back to the future and feel like you're hip and new, like going to watch Michael J. Fox and Marty McFly do his thing again. And in fact, the funny thing is, when you watch this, of course, they go to the future, and the future is actually currently in the past.
I know. That's the part that's kind of scary. We went to the future, and we're past it. Like, what? Do they add anything new? Like, if this a director's cut version or something where they threw something in that originally ended up on the cutting room floor?
You generally get a good opening sequence with the people that were behind it that brought it back to life. With Jaws, we had Steven Spielberg do a little 3-minute or so intro before you saw it. This is kind of the precursor to, you're going to get a whole new 40th anniversary box set, complete with all kinds of extras. I think they said 6 hours was the last number I saw bandied about of extras and fun stuff. So this is kind of just that precursor. The 40th anniversary officially was on July 3rd earlier this year, but this is a time when theaters are a little quiet. So it's good to get back and see something. You can guarantee if you pay for a ticket to this, you're going to leave happy because you know what Back to the Future is. And it definitely holds that interest today. Think about all the things that are in there that are gone, though. I mean, like Theater's a Tab, which was in the future, which is now no longer available, is it? I don't think you can buy Tab
I don't think so.
Nope. So, and of course, you know, Pepsi was the choice of the new generation. Well, it's there in a lot of theaters. I know the Marcus theaters group carries it. So it's just an interesting all up and down the unique things that we thought were going to happen that didn't happen, whatever it is along the way. I just love going back to see a classic on the big screen that, so many, I saw it years ago on the big screen, but so many haven't. And this is your chance. And it's on the premiere screens, the bigger screens, the IMAXs, the big screen, ultra screens and whatnot. So this is in the really big screen format.
Well, being that it's Halloween, it's kind of appropriate that we would have the queen of the serial killers. Play that one for me, Ethan.
She's been called the hooker from hell. Terrorized men along Florida's highways.
She's a wild, boozing, lesbian prostitute.
In 1997, Eileen said, I'm going to tell you the truth of my life and give you this interview.
The real Eileen Warren's not a serial killer. I was so lost that I turned into one.
What is that all about?
Do you remember Eileen Vornos? Do you remember the story?
I don't, but that line of, oh, geez, I want to play that again of like a drunken lesbian serial killer is like, wait, what? I think I saw that on Netflix.
She was the woman who Charlize Theron played in the movie Monster.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years back, and was nominated for all kinds of awards for. It was the story of the first woman that was killed on Florida's death row. She had got convicted of a number of killings of men that were picking her up along Florida's highways, and she went to trial. And as you see in the documentary a little bit, you see how her case was basically she was raped and did self-defense, and that was part of the deal. And a lot of weird things go on behind the scenes. You see a lot of the backstory that maybe you didn't see back in the time. Ultimately, I believe, that she did what she said she did. And but there's a lot of questions now, as these Netflix documentaries tend to do. Raise those questions to go, oh, maybe it wasn't all quite what you saw, and maybe there were some people working behind the scenes. It's a fascinating hour-and-a-half watch if you want to sit with it. If you don't, you don't. It's number one right now on Netflix, so it's a lot of people are checking it out.
Well, it is appropriate for Halloween, so you do have that. So tell me about Down Cemetery Road on Apple Plus.
This is my newest obsession, and if I could send you anywhere right now. But you can't see the whole weekend, Mike. You got to give that a little ways. This is going to release. The first 2 episodes are out there for everybody now. You're going to get it one a week through, I think it's December 10th. And quite frankly, Emma Thompson and Ruth Wilson, they're having a dinner. Ruth Wilson's having a dinner party, and the house next door blows up. Normal everyday occurrence in the suburbs of London, isn't it?
Wow. Do we find out why?
Well, we are working on that because she becomes the amateur gumshoe sleuth, tries to figure out why it blew up, what went on, and a private investigator played by Emma Thompson gets involved, and the two of them have to work together to get to the bottom of things. There's a lot of people in this movie that you go, who are they? What are they doing there? And a lot of them, the husbands don't like the wives, and the wives don't like the husbands, and all kinds of things going on. It's got all the neat little intricacies that weave a web that make you want to stay. And at the end of episode 2, I guarantee if you watch the first 2 episodes out now, you will not want to put it down after episode 2 ends. Great ending to episode 2, and you'll want to tune in every Wednesday, and it's worth it going forward as well because, of course, I get clued into a couple of those episodes down the line, but you'll want to stay with it. Down Cemetery Road's my new obsession on Apple TV+.
So it's going to roll new episodes until December 10th, you said?
I believe it's December 10th. It's a new episode every Wednesday. So you've got 2 out now. They dropped 2 right away. And so those are available for everyone right now. So you check out those on Apple TV+, or tonight you check out It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, because that's the home of It's a Great Pumpkin. So you could watch that with the kids and then get into Down Cemetery Road.
I was going to ask you, do you have like a Halloween watching tradition that you get into?
I usually get into at least one of the classics. I'm a big fan of the original Halloween, and Friday the 13th is actually part 2. I actually came into the Friday the 13th franchise really at part 2, and that's the only reason I go to that one. Some of the new stuff I get into as well. I mean, if you want to see something new, scary, you go see something like Heretic over on HBO Max with Hugh Grant. It's one of the creepier titles that have come down the road, I think, in the last couple years. That and the Conjuring titles, a lot of those you can find at HBO Max if you have that service. Most of the titles are out there, and you've got kid-friendly titles on Disney Plus. I know you guys were talking a little bit about Disney Plus and the likes of, all the YouTube stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
You can also see some of this stuff. Don't forget, we get so into the streaming services that we forget that the cable and the YouTube TV Pluses and whatnot have on-demand access to things from AMC.
Oh, that's
and
true.
Others. And you can check this stuff out on demand with your cable partner, with your streaming partner through that service as well. So you don't only have to go to a streaming service to find this stuff. Just hit that on-demand button and click search, and you'll find out there's a lot of great programming out there for you.
What's that witches movie that was more of a kid-friendly movie with Bette Midler?
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. Yeah, the kids always like that. My daughter loved that when she was little.
Aren't they going to do another one? Did I make that up?
They already did.
Oh,
did they really?
Yeah, they did a second one.
Just for Ethan. And it's already out?
It came out last year.
Oh, yeah, that came out was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, it's been at least a year or two. I watched Hocus Pocus literally last night.
Oh, did you really?
I love Hocus Pocus.
There you go.
Great movie.
So it's just one of those kind of traditional things that I guess people get into. Paul, it's always good to talk to you, man.
Hey, you too. Go ahead, see some scary movies, have some fun, and go back in time. I'm telling you, that DeLorean still looks like a hot car to this day.
I'm still mad I don't have a flying car. The Jetsons promised it, Back to the Future promised it, and here we sit, and I'm still don't have it. Hey, if people want to follow you, where can they do that?
CommonGuy.com or hit me up on all the socials. I had a great conversation with a listener last week about their dislike of my review of House of Dynamite. Yourself. That's over on Netflix.
Wait, weren't you just talking about that?
Yeah, I watched it a couple days ago, and I couldn't have agreed more with you. Hold on. You said that people weren't going to like the ending, correct?
Yep.
I couldn't believe. I was so mad by the end of it. It was very interesting leading up to it, and then it ends. It just ends. And it was very frustrating.
The more I thought about it, the more I liked the ending because it leaves you, Ethan, and everyone else to figure out what you think happened because we don't know.
It's a good point. It just makes you mad.
I know.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes you just want to put a bow on it and be done, right?
Exactly.
Stick a bow on it and make it happen.
That's what it felt like to me when I first saw it. But and I was mad as well the first time I saw it, but I thought more about it and I had a different feeling.
Well, Paul, have a great weekend. Don't forget to set your clocks back tomorrow night and change the batteries in your smoke detectors.
And I'll still get up at 5. Thanks, Mike.
You got it. Have a good one. That is Paul Hall from Commandite Films. We are going to talk to Frank Cusumano, KSDK Sports Director, on the other side. It's the Mark Reardon Show, Halloween edition, with Mike Elam sitting in on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Really nice commute on this Halloween, and westbound 70 looks great out of downtown. There's a little bit of volume northbound 170 at Airport Road. Then westbound 70 past K and a little bit at Wentzville. 64, it's just moderate volume, Hampton. And then it opens up. It's a little slow at Lake St. Louis Boulevard, just in the construction zone there. Southbound 270 slowing at Gravois. We have a report of an accident down there. And 55 looks pretty good. And if you're headed into Illinois, things are fine. There's a little bit of volume, though, westbound. So if you're headed in from Illinois, just a little moderate volume on the Poplar Street Bridge. This report is brought to you by Aspen Contracting. Roofsbyaspen.com. Is your siding dragging down your home's curb appeal? Aspen Contracting can transform your house with new siding, fast, efficient, and built to last. Don't settle for an eyesore. Call Aspen today for your free siding inspection. 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Let's support our first responders. Inter-Responder Rescue's ATF raffle. Prizes include top shelf bourbon, a lit cigar lounge VIP night, and a CZ P10 pistol from the range. Text responder to 33100 to enter today.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Read all about it.
The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 314-567-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Mike Elam sitting in for Mark today. Frank Cusumano, KSDK Sports Director, is joining us. Frank, how are you, sir?
With you, I hope you and Ethan are doing well.
We are hanging in there, man. So do you think, World Series news, do you think the Blue Jays are going to wrap this thing up at home tonight, or do you think we go to Game 7?
You know, my gut is we're going to see a Game 7 because the Dodgers are throwing Ohtani, who's been the best pitcher in this postseason. Excuse me, not Ohtani, but Yamamoto, who's been the best pitcher in this postseason. Think about this, Mike. In the postseason, he's pitched 2 of the 3 best games of his career. He's had back-to-back complete games with everything on the line. I think he's going to have a good outing. And if he gets into any trouble, they're going to go to Shohei Ohtani in relief. Interesting. He'll start as the DH. If they put him in the game as he starts the game as a DH, the Dodgers lose the DH spot in the batting order.
Wow.
So this is really going to be a convoluted Game 6 because they know Ohtani may be the first guy they go to if Yamamoto can't throw a complete game.
Frank, Ethan here. I know, a lot of people are probably anti-Dodgers just because of the payroll and how many big stars they have on this team. I'm curious, in your eyes, do you think that the winner of this World Series could have any sort of further impact on if baseball ends up going into a lockout? If the Dodgers, who spend by far the most money in baseball, were to win back-to-back championships, or do you think that it's one of those things where the damage has already been done to this point?
Well, I think it's going to help the cause for a salary cap. If the Dodgers go back-to-back with that obscene payroll of theirs, how can, like, the rest of the owners think it's a good idea not to have a salary cap? So, yeah, I think it's helping the case. There's no doubt about it. I will say this. It's not like the Blue Jays are shopping at the dollar store. They're fifth in payroll.
Sure.
So you have two real high market teams that are giving away, like with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., like a $500 million contract. But, yeah, I think this is going to help the cause.
Hey, switching gears real quick, because I've only got about a minute. Sorry for getting to you so late today. But, man, what's up with the Blues? They're just struggling. They can't seem to find a way to win.
Well, it's the biggest mystery in St. Louis sports. We knew the Cardinals were going to be average. We had no hope for City SC. But for this team with the Hall of Fame GM, with one of the great coaches in hockey, and with all this brimming young talent, it's shocking. They've lost 6 in a row. They're in Columbus. In terms of why, well, a lot of your marquee players you're counting on have done nothing. And then these terrible injuries getting closer. I mean, it's just like a perfect storm. And, look, every team's going to go through a bad 10-game stretch. Let's hope for the Blues this is their bad 10-game stretch.
So what's coming up on Sports Plus this weekend?
We're a really fun program. Kellen Thames for the Billikens, his son, almost like he had to shut down his whole season last year because of crippling, cramping issues. Now he's back, and we're going to hear his unbelievable comeback story. We're going to have in studio Mike McKenna, and we're also going to do a piece on Magnus Carlsen, the best chess player in the world, who is in town this week in St. Louis and beating everybody like a drum. We're going to find out what makes him tick.
Man, you are covering everything this weekend.
Got a little bit of everything. Yes, sir.
You do. Frank, have a great Halloween. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Okay, Mike, Ethan, thank you so much.
That's Frank Cusumano, KSDK Sports Director. We are going to talk to Jeff Mordock, the White House correspondent for the Washington Times. On the other side, it's Mike Elam for Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Really not a bad commute tonight, which I guess you'd never really know. Friday can be crazy, but it's also Halloween, so we're not looking bad. In fact, if you're headed into Illinois, no delays on the bridges downtown. 70 westbound is fine out of downtown. It's a little slow at Wentzville, and there was a slow pocket just past K. 64, though, still has some volume. Hampton out through McCausland, and then Highway N out through the 70 split. Now, we've got an accident reported on southbound 270 at Gravois, so some slow-moving traffic back through 44. And there was an accident reported westbound 44 past Lindbergh as well. But other than that, we actually look pretty good, and things are quiet. This report brought to you by me. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Are you nearing retirement and you don't really know if you have enough money saved to retire? I mean, that is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Because this is something you have to have. Otherwise, you're just winging it, right? And this is your life. You cannot be doing that. So this is why I like the Financial and Tax Architects team. Not only have they helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence, but what they do is teach you how retirement works, and then you'll feel better about it, understand how that process goes, and then you could sit down with them and they can come up with a plan with you that's tailored to what you've got, your goals, your values, and they teach these classes for free. They're about 2.5 hours, but you have to register. So go to F as in Frank, FTA-RIA.com, FTA-RIA.com. Get signed up for a class and start there.
Public schools, like public libraries, should be free and open to all. Open enrollment allows parents to choose the school that's the best fit for their children. Maybe another school has a wider curriculum, is bigger or smaller. Maybe a kid is being bullied and would be more comfortable at another school. 75% of parents favor open enrollment. Open enrollment programs now exist in 43 states, and Missouri should join them. Our next-door neighbor, Kansas, has one of the strongest open enrollment policies in the nation. Kansas parents are trusted with choices and options, while Missouri parents must move out of their home to change public schools. And it's a trend. Nationwide, the percentage of students going to their chosen public school has steadily increased. Assigning kids to schools based on their zip code is the old way. Open enrollment is a better way. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
A shutdown fear averted, potentially. I'm Tom Graham, Fox News. The Trump administration has warned food stamp or SNAP benefits would run dry November 1st due to the ongoing government shutdown. However, 2 court orders could force the White House to keep the program funded.
2 federal judges ruled nearly simultaneously that the Trump administration must continue funding SNAP, at least partially, with contingency funds during the government shutdown. A consortium of more than 24 states filed lawsuits challenging the Agriculture Department's assessment that the federal food stamp program cannot be funded without a spending bill from Congress. Funding begins to lapse for nearly 42 million SNAP recipients beginning Saturday. The judges in both cases are asking for updates from the administration by Monday. Appeals to the rulings are expected. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Government workers remain furloughed, not getting a paycheck. The White House has made an exception for members of the military, though. Fox's Brooke Taylor is in Texas, near one of the largest Army posts in the country.
The Trump administration managed to make sure that the military was paid today because today was payday. They tapped into different funds to make this happen, but it might not be sustainable. The Armed Services YMCA, which helps military members and their families, is seeing a massive surge at their food pantries as many are preparing for the worst. We visited one of their locations in Texas, right near Fort Hood, where soldiers lined up before those doors open, many with their young children. The CEO of the national nonprofit says demand at their food pantries has jumped 30 to 70% since the government shutdown began.
Government shutdown is now on day 31. Senate Democrats have blocked a GOP funding bill demanding health care subsidies be part of any deal. On Wall Street, stocks finishing in the green. The Dow up 41, the NASDAQ up 144. America's listening to Fox News.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Hard to believe it is Halloween and we're ending the month of October and getting into November this week. Sunshine breezy, near 60, so mainly in the 50s this afternoon. Trick-or-treat time right around 50 degrees, partly cloudy skies, a cold 39. Partly sunny on Saturday, maybe a sprinkle, but tough to find, 55. 37 Saturday night and Sunday, sunny and 59. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
FM Talk. It's Mike Elam sitting in today. We've got a busy hour. We'll talk a little trick-or-treating stuff that is going up, and it's always fun to find out what kind of candy do you like to steal from your kids. You know, not having kids at home anymore, it's a little different for me now. So now I guess it's stealing from my grandkids. But I would never do that, of course. Hey, Jeff Mordock is joining us, the White House correspondent for the Washington Times. Jeff, thanks so much for making time with us today.
Thank you for having me, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you. Hey, man, there is a ton of stuff that is going on these days. When you cover President Trump, there is no rest for the weary, is there?
No, Mike, it's crazy how busy it is. I mean, even in Asia, there was news he was breaking over here. It was kind of interesting because my editor said to me, well, let's let the Asian Bureau focus on his trip to Asia. You kind of do White House stuff from here. Maybe you'll get kind of an easier week. No, it was not an easier week by any stretch.
Yeah, he made all kinds of news on the Asian trip, and it seemed like he really got the most for his travel dollar on that trip. He didn't just see one, he saw a bunch of people.
He did, and he did a lot. You know, he did. He was making trade deals. He was talking to people. He was trying to come up with defense pacts in South Korea and Japan. There was and when I say defense pacts, try to get them to increase what they're spending, increase the cost burden of having U.S. troops stationed in those countries. There was a tremendous amount that he did. It's kind of stunning. I'm exhausted just reading about it. I can't even imagine what it was like to go over there and do all the things he did, and he's more than twice my age. So
obviously he went to Japan, met with the new prime minister there. They seem to have a really good relationship, and she seemed to be doing everything that she could to win his favor.
Well, that's 100% correct, Mike. What happened? She is a disciple of the former Prime Minister Abe. Very similar, and Trump and him had a very close relationship. She is kind of in his mold. She learned from Abe. She knows how to get along with Trump. She's similar to Trump, and she knew what to say and how to get along. You could tell that that's the spark of a really interesting relationship between the two of them.
So she made a big commitment in terms of buying defense spending or doing more defense purchases from the United States. He jumped from there and went over to South Korea. What was the highlight that you got out of that South Korean visit?
Well, I think the highlight of the South Korean visit would be a couple things. Obviously, the meeting with Xi, even though that wasn't with Chinese President Xi. That wasn't a typical South Korean thing, but that sort of overshadowed what he was doing being at the APEC conference over there. And that, came back with a lot of interesting deals. He's going to lower tariffs. They're going to start buying American soybeans again. There's quite a bit he got done there. The interesting thing about that is out of nowhere on his way to go meet with Xi, he announced the United States is going to resume nuclear testing. And the timing of that was weird because he announced it on True Social literally as he is in the helicoptering to meet Xi. So clearly trying to send a message to both China and Russia minutes ahead of the meeting.
He seemed to really be sending a message to China about the U.S. presence that is in that region. So if she thinks that Trump was not going to pay attention to the Asian area, he was exactly wrong on that. And Trump kept sending that message that said, not only do we have a big presence here, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that gets expanded.
Well, that's exactly right. And that message was made in the Xi meeting, but it was made more clearly in his meetings with the South Korean President Lee, the Japanese Prime Minister, because that's where he's there sitting down, striking deals for cost sharing, increasing U.S. presence over there. All of those things that he's over there talking about, that's to send the message to Xi. Hey, not only we over here, we're aligned with Japan. We're aligned with South Korea. Wow, that was almost a bad typo there.
Who knows? He talked about meeting with North Korea while he was there as well. So he still seems to be throwing that olive branch out.
Yeah, he said if he was willing to extend his stay, if Kim Jong-un was willing to meet with him. he was really trying over there to make this trip worthwhile. It was not. It was. I mean, there were dinners, there were awards. He was presented with different awards and medals, but there was a lot done. There was a tremendous amount done on that trip.
What do you make of the announcing of the nuclear testing? What message did you think he is trying to send from there?
I think he's trying to. I think he's trying to send a message that the United States is not backing down. We have the most sophisticated weapons in the world, and we're willing to use them. If you want to if you want to ramp up testing, it's kind of interesting because Russia has been testing nuclear-capable weapons, and I thought it was interesting that Putin's spokesperson this week came out after Trump's announcement and said, well, we're testing nuclear-capable weapons. We're not testing nuclear weapons, really trying to make sure that everybody knows there's a fine line in what they're doing, what they're not doing. It's somewhat of a difference without distinction, because if they're nuclear-capable, well, what else are you going to use them for? And I thought that was really interesting that that was their reaction to it. But it's sending a message. It's saying we're ready, we're prepared to do what we want. We have the best defense system in the world, and we're not afraid to use it.
What did you come away with as the highlight of meeting with China? Do you think anything positive came from that? Was this just kind of, hey, we had a conversation, we talked, I gave my shot across the bow with what I wanted him to know? Where did you see a highlight from that?
I thought there were highlights. I did not think there was one major win, but a lot of little wins, like getting China to resume purchasing American soybeans. It's going to help farmers. Trump agreeing to lower tariffs. That's going to help us all because we get so many goods from China. Things like that. They're not the major wins, but they're enough that he can come, and it gives him bragging rights going forward.
Anything else from that trip that you thought was noteworthy? I mean, obviously, that's a lot. The trade deals, the nuclear testing deals, sitting down with Xi and talking about what's going on there, getting the soybean deal done, that's obviously going to be great for the farmers. Anything else that came from that you thought was noteworthy?
Well, what I thought was kind of noteworthy, or just kind of an interesting thing, was that he was there for APEC, and nobody talked about him at APEC or his speech at APEC. That he made the decision, and this is just a very Trump thing that nobody really pays much attention to. He went over there to give a speech at APEC, the U.S. president always does, and decide, well, I'm just not going to go there and make a speech. If I'm going over there, we're going to hit Malaysia. We're going to hit Japan. We're going to hit South Korea. We're going to meet with Xi. We are going to make this trip worthwhile. I'm not going over there giving a speech and come back, which we see presidents of both parties do all the time. And I thought that was really interesting, that the whole reason for him to go out there, the purpose of this trip, really got overshadowed and barely talked about for all the other things that he's done over there.
With good reason, as you've already covered. We're talking with Jeff Mordock, who was the White House correspondent of the Washington Times, kind of coming back to the U.S. and what's going on. Obviously, this shutdown has been huge. And tomorrow, talking about the SNAP benefits should stop going out. You've got a lot of things that are going to come from there. They keep calling it the Schumer shutdown. Where do you see this going? Do you see an end in the near future, or do you see this just progressing?
I do not see an end in the near future, and I wish I had better news. And I'll tell you why, because I don't see a motivation right now on either side to end this. For the Democrats, they can keep this going and talk about, oh, look how evil Trump is. He's shutting the government down. And they've even said that there's plenty of video out there of Democrats talking about how this is the only leverage they have against Trump. This is the only thing they have to sort of get any kind of concessions out of Trump. From President Trump's perspective, he's been trying to shrink the federal workforce. He's been trying to cut government spending. The shutdown gives him an opportunity to do both of that. And you can tell that in his posture, because if you look at what he's doing and you just pay attention to only what he's doing, you got to walk away wondering what government shutdown. He's flying to Asia. He's having receptions at the White House. He's flying all over the place, talking to people. He's having leaders from all over the world come in and sit down with him during this shutdown. So it doesn't seem like he's even really being impacted. In parts of the government that he favors, So far, he's been able to find a way. He authorized Pete Hegseth, for example, to find whatever loose funds are around there to make sure the soldiers get paid. Richard Mellon-Scaffi had donated money to help the soldiers get paid. He's found a way. Kash Patel was out there talking about how, unlike previous shutdowns, FBI agents are getting paid. They redirected tariff money to help fund SNAP. He's looking for ways, but then if you look at the parts of the government he does not like, for example, he used the shutdown as a way to cut money for a transportation project in New York City as a way of thumbing his nose at Schumer and Jeffries. So that's why I think there's no incentive right now for anybody. And it seems like if you look at the polling, it comes straight down the middle. The Republicans are blaming the Democrats are blaming the Republicans in the polling. And I just don't see an incentive on either side here to end this, unfortunately.
I did think it's interesting that even CNN is talking about how this is getting worse and worse for the Democrats. And they were doing polling that said, hey, during the shutdown, the Republicans' numbers are actually going up a few points. Not huge, but it's going up. But the Democrats are going in the wrong direction. And you had a story earlier today of talking about delays that are running into in D.C. at the airport because the air traffic controllers who aren't getting paid are starting to call in sick, and they're starting to say, hey, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not coming in. If that starts to happen, if you start to see more of those things happen and the pain points really start to hit, do you think that's when the pressure is going to happen on both sides to come to some sort of an arrangement and make a deal?
I think yes. I kind of thought if anything was going to motivate the Democrats to make a deal, it would have been the end of the No Kings protest, that they didn't want to look weak before that protest and then have those protesters turn their ire towards them. That didn't seem to happen. And one of the things I thought was kind of interesting is, at least from the signs that I saw in the No Kings protest, they also seemed more angry about the ballroom than they did about the government shutdown. And I think – so I was kind of thought if anything it would be the end of that they could maybe, but no, that still hasn't happened. And with, I'll give you an example. Oklahoma, for example, is a state where there's a lot of federal workers. Not as many as this area, but there's plenty out there. And a lot of those federal workers are in law enforcement. They're in the military, things like that. They're getting their paychecks. They're probably really even almost, if you're with all they've got going on in their own lives, probably not aware of how much infighting there is in D.C. over this. It's probably not because they are getting their checks because the military is getting paid. And I think the people aren't seeing the pain yet. Now, that may change, but I think when people start seeing the pain, then we might start seeing the pressure. And also, you could kind of almost point some of that on President Trump. If you look at what President Biden did during his shutdown in 2013, he shut everything down. The government was at levels that Republicans were accusing him of being reckless to make a point. And his point was trying to let's get the constituents to put pressure on Republicans in Congress. So he shut down the open air monuments here in D.C. Trump hasn't done any of that. The open air monuments that really are never staffed, they're still open. As I said, SNAP benefits are running out, but SNAP benefits got paid with redirected tariff funds. He's got a whole different playbook for this shutdown.
You talked a little bit about the No Kings protest, and some people were thinking that the November 4th elections may be that thing that Schumer needs to get by, and then he'll allow some folks to move. But you said No Kings. They were actually more mad about the ballroom than they were some of the other things that were going on. What's going on with the East Wing renovations right now? How is all of that coming along?
Well, Democrats are fuming and threatening investigations and all that, but right now Republicans control Congress, so it's not really going to go much of anywhere. But what I think is interesting is the East Wing is demolished, and now they're starting the construction. They're going to resume tours of the White House back in December. They had been delayed a little bit for security purposes for the construction of the East Room. They're resuming them back up, which kind of shows that we're starting to move past and construction starting to move apace, that they're confident they can start bringing tour groups in.
Do they have a timetable of when they think this is all going to be done?
They keep talking about before the end of President Trump's term, sometime in 2028. I I'm not a construction expert. That seems ambitious to me, given the size and scope of the ballroom, but they're adamant that they can get that done.
I would assume he wants to make sure that he has an event inside that thing before he rides off into the sunset.
100%. He wants a big event with lots of world leaders in there. Whatever the first event is, it's going to be something. He's going to make sure that's something of historic nature that he can get the photo ops for.
It's going to be huge, Jeff. It's going to be huge. It's the biggest party we've ever had. It's going to be fantastic. I don't know. I turned into Bernie Sanders all of a sudden. Hey, Jeff, we appreciate you spending some time and talking with us. Do you have big plans for Halloween or for the weekend?
Yes, I have my son. A lot of his friends and their parents are coming over. We're going to have pizza and s'mores, and we're taking the kids trick-or-treating. My son is a NASCAR driver for Halloween.
Oh, does he a particular driver or just running his NASCAR in general?
Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. Awesome. Now, do you have a particular candy that you're going to have to, quote-unquote, inspect when he gets home?
Yes, a Hershey's with almonds.
Everybody's got their favorite, you know?
Yes, he knows Hershey with almonds. Just hand it right to Dad. So he knows that. So.
I love that. Well, Jeff, we appreciate the time. Good luck trick-or-treating. I hope Chase wins his race tonight with all the great candy, and we will catch up with you down the road.
Thanks, Mike. You have a great Halloween.
You too. That is Jeff Mordock. He is the White House correspondent of the Washington Times. Hey, we are going to talk to Dr. Thomas Siler. He's the medical director of the Sleep Laboratory and Pulmonary Rehab at SSM Health St. Joe's Hospital in St. Charles. You're going to lose an hour. Well, fall back, right? So you're going to get an extra hour. You're not going to lose it. You're going to gain it. Do you really? Do you ever really feel like you got that? Or do you just feel tired all the time? And if that is the case, why? I mean, if I get an extra hour, why am I tired? We'll talk to him a little bit later on this hour. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There was a very serious accident, Arsenal at Gravois in the city. Still some heavy traffic there. It looks especially on Arsenal itself. On the interstates, it hasn't been bad. Westbound 70 looks good out of downtown. It's slowing at Wentzville. 70 is in both directions. 6440 now looks good until you get out west in the construction zone. That's Highway N out through the 70 split. Southbound 270, some volume as you head on down toward Gravois, and then that's it. 55 even looks good at Bates. Now, eastbound 44 is jammed in front of the Arch grounds right by the old cathedral, but we look fine not only on the bridges downtown, but on the Illinois side in general. It really does look okay over there. I think a lot of people have headed home early. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. The Federal Reserve just dropped interest rates again. And that means you can save even more money on your mortgage. If you've been waiting for the right time to refinance, this is it. Our customers are saving hundreds, even thousands every month. What could you do with an extra $1,000 every month? You can also pull cash out of your home's equity to pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or just get ahead. If you refinance now, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll even pay for your appraisal. But don't wait. Rates can rise again anytime, and they change fast. For today's rate, call Golden Oak Lending now at 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Lights flickering?
Grasser can fix it.
Breaker keeps tripping?
That's a Grasser job.
Outlet not working?
Grasser makes it right.
Old wiring need a rewire?
Grasser rewires with care.
From little fixes to major fixes.
Even the tricky ones.
We treat your home like our own.
Treat? Did you say treat? Woof.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
He's not here to play nice. He's here to make you think. Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Hope your Friday is starting off well. I agree with Sue. I think a lot of people started going home early, which is not a bad thing. So, did you have fall break when you were in high school? Do you remember a fall break?
High school. I don't think so. Is that a thing now?
It must be. So I found out. So one of my fellow councilmen, Matt Swanson, is a middle school teacher. And he was off Thursday. He's off today. They're off on Monday.
Public or private?
Public.
Really?
Fort Zumwalt. So he's a teacher there. So they're off. I guess Francis Howell was off last week, maybe, and Winsfield.
What?
So yeah. So that now it's got a thing. It's like a fall break. I don't know when that started.
Man.
I don't remember my kids having a fall break.
I wish I could get a fall break from work.
I know. Wouldn't that be great? Like,
really
don't you want a
nice.
fall break? I want a
Love
fall
one.
break. We're going to fall back, supposedly,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to talk to Dr. Siler a little bit later on this hour about what does that actually mean. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Hey, you know somebody who's just having a really bad time lately? Kamala Harris. So I've been reading all this stuff. You know, KJP wrote a book, and now she's not a Democrat. She was Biden's press secretary, of course. So she's no longer a Democrat, she says. And she's been out there kind of ripping on the White House, and people are throwing her under the bus. But Harris is having all kinds of issues. She is running into a bunch of protesters who are showing up at her stuff, calling her a legacy of genocide because of what happened with Biden there, and just been going off on that. They say the content of her book and messaging is drawing criticism from within her own party. Many Democrats feel that the book dwells too much on losses, internal finger-pointing, and lacks a forward-looking vision. Well, that kind of sounds like Harris. She didn't really have a forward-looking vision. But this is something that she said defending President Biden on her book tour.
I believe he was fully competent to serve.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
That surprises me, actually.
No, I do. There's a distinction to be made between running for president and being president.
What's the distinction?
Well, being a candidate for president of the United States is about being in a marathon at a sprinter's pace, having tomatoes thrown at you every step you take.
So that was when she was talking to Jon Stewart. And by the way, if you've lost Jon Stewart in the Democrat Party, you're in a lot of trouble. So she's trying to make this distinction and saying Biden was good enough to be president and run the most powerful country in the world, but he didn't have the wherewithal to go campaign for the job. Seriously? Oh, she's not done. She went on to rip Trump for the East Wing stuff.
Are you kidding me? This guy wants to create a ballroom for his rich friends while completely turning a blind eye to the fact that babies are going to starve when the SNAP benefits end in just hours from now? Come on. So I'm not going to be distracted by, does the guy have a big hammer? What about those babies?
Come on. That's the Kamala version of come on, man, the version that she learned from Biden. So if you think the Democrats are still on board with her, and a lot of people are talking about she's going to make another run at the White House, and she's going to try to be the Democrat nominee. James Carville is a guy who has no problems telling you what's on his mind. And this is what he said to Kamala Harris.
Be very clear here. No one that had anything to do with 2024, no Democrat wants to hear from you. Not we all voted for you, okay? Not Hunter Biden, not Harris, not Tim Walz, not the consultants, not anything. The 2024 has left such a lingering bad taste in Democrats. We just get out of the way.
I love that. I heard Karl Rove on Fox News earlier today, and he was talking about the fact of, if you think that's bad for Harris, I was at an event with him earlier, or for James Carville. If you think that's bad, you should have heard him when we were at an event together earlier this week. He used a lot of words that you can't use on the radio to express how much he does not want Kamala Harris to ever be heard from ever again. I thought that was pretty interesting, so thought we'd share. We're going to talk to Dr. Thomas Siler, because, after you get done with Halloween, then you're going to fall back tomorrow night, and you're going to have the opportunity to get an extra hour. But it never really feels like I get that extra hour. We're going to talk to him and find out a little bit more about how you can make your sleep better. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today on The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There was a very serious accident, Gravois at Arsenal. Avoiding that area, not a bad idea, but I'll tell you what, we've got light traffic out there in general. Westbound 70 looks great out of downtown. 64, there's some moderate volume out at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Now 55 is slow. We've got an accident reported as you head for the Poplar Street Bridge, so be careful through there. But other than that, we're good. If you're headed in from Illinois, no delays on the bridges, or headed into Illinois. So looking good on all fronts. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Climate Masters. We specialize in older homes. Climate Masters Heating and Cooling. Trusted heating and cooling installation and maintenance service. Keeping the St. Louis Metro comfortable since 1978. Call us today at 314-968-8383. Climate Masters.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. You can take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleanings. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the saving.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The time is 5:34. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hey, it's Paige. I love listening in to 97.1 to stay up to date on the latest news and to stay informed. Happy 25 years and cheers to the next 25.
It's the Mark Reardon Show, Halloween edition. Hope your Halloween has been going well. I agree with Sue. I do think a bunch of people went home early today, Sue.
Yeah, they
It just
did.
feels that way.
I'm not sure they went to work, frankly. It was pretty light this morning, too.
I'm sorry, we canceled due to lack of interest.
Yes.
We decided that we weren't going to do that. Hey, how much sleep do you get? I was asking the two of you. Ethan, how much sleep do you normally get?
I would say probably between 6 and 8 hours.
Sue?
I'm 6 to 7.
6 to 7. I try to get at least 7 hours of sleep. And from what I've been reading, sleep is probably one of the most important things you can do for your long-term health. Well, you're supposed to get an extra hour of that this weekend. Saturday night, we're supposed to set our clocks back. How does that really work? Dr. Thomas Siler, who's the medical director of the Sleep Laboratory and Pulmonary Rehab at SSM Health St. Joe's in St. Charles, is joining us. Dr. Siler, thanks for making some time for us on Halloween.
Great. Happy to do it, Mike.
Hey, I appreciate it. So we were talking about before, I never really feel like when we set the clocks back that I really feel like I get that extra hour of sleep. Is that something that's kind of normal, or am I the one-off here?
Well, I think what a lot of people do is they kind of put a little extra things in their schedule because they're going to get that extra hour, and they end up wasting it doing something else.
It's like spending the bonus before you actually get it, huh?
There you go.
So what can we do to make sure that we get the most out of that hour?
Go to bed at your regular bedtime and get up at your regular time, and you'll get that extra hour that way. But as I said, what a lot of people do is they'll just stay up an extra hour or 2, 3, and then they don't get the benefit of the extra hour of sleep.
You being a sleep specialist, I would assume that you're going to agree with me when I said that I'm understanding that sleep is a really big deal in your long-term health. Why is sleep such a big deal in making sure that your health is the best that it can be?
What sleep does, it basically restores your brain function, lets your brain rest, and then also during sleep there's something called REM sleep or rapid eye movement sleep. And during those periods of time, the brain is very active, but chemically, the brain's got a lot of stuff going on, and when you're sleeping at night, you restore the chemistries inside the brain and then make the brain ready to go for the next day. So it's important that the body rest and that the brain also have a rest period during the day.
Is it important
Humans
that
just don't function if they don't get enough sleep?
Is it important that you dream?
Well, pretty much everybody dreams pretty much. Some people remember dreams, some people don't. Normally, 25 to 30% of the sleep period during the night is dreaming sleep. That tends to occur more and more as you get later and later in the night. The first part of the night, often there's a lot of what we call deep sleep, and then off and on through the night, there's what we call light sleep. So those are sort of the three different stages of sleep that we see. But dreaming sleep usually occurs first time about 90 minutes after you go to sleep, and then every 60 to 90 minutes after that, you have a dreaming period that kind of goes back and forth between the stages of sleep.
Dr. Itsu, I just happen to be in here at the same time, but I'm wondering this. What if you are a person who gets up every couple of hours Are you able to get all the sleep you need if you're waking up? Are you messing up the cycles?
If it's every 2 hours, not really. It's more a matter of how much sleep you get total rather than whether it's all at one time. As people get older, a lot of times people will sleep less at night, but then they may take a nap in the afternoon, for example, for a couple of hours. It's more the total amount of sleep you get rather than if it's continuous or not.
That's actually good to know.
Yeah, where did the 8 hours of sleep being ideal, where did that come from? And is that really true?
Not really. There's people that we call long sleepers, and there are people that are short sleepers. Average people need between 6 and 8 hours of sleep. Some people function just fine on 6 hours of sleep. Some people, if they don't get 8 hours of sleep, they have trouble functioning the next day. So it really varies from person to person.
So a number of years ago, to make sure that my wife was happy and that she could sleep, I got a CPAP machine. And that kind of changed my life, man, in terms of, because all of a sudden my wife is happy. So, you know, that if you're happy wife, happy life, right? There's a lot of truth to old sayings because that's why they stay old sayings. But I've noticed that over the last year, I've lost 80 pounds. And I've noticed that my CPAP just doesn't work the same way that it used to anymore. What does your weight loss or your weight have to do with your sleep?
Well, that's an excellent question because when I go through with patients the treatments for sleep apnea, the first one is weight loss. And with weight loss, depends on where you lose the weight. If you lose 6 inches around your waist, but your neck size stays the same, then it may not make a difference in your sleep apnea. However, if you lose weight around the neck area, your shirt size gets smaller, then you're losing fat tissue in the neck, and you're also potentially losing fat tissue around the airway and in the tongue. And when you do that, you can make the airway bigger. And so what can happen with CPAP is a couple of things. Number one, in some cases, sleep apnea goes away. But in other cases, what happens is the sleep apnea doesn't go away, but there's less tissue to push out of the way with the pressure from the CPAP. And so the pressure on the CPAP may be too high.
Yeah.
And what we do in that situation is we turn the pressure down if patients are losing weight and having trouble tolerating their CPAP. Typically, people will get drying or they'll just feel like the pressure is too much. And with that situation, and a lot of the machines we have now, we can control remotely. So, you know, my patient will call me in the office and they'll tell my sleep coordinator that they're having a problem and they've lost some weight. And so a lot of times what we'll do, we'll just turn their pressure down remotely, let them try it for a few days and see if that makes the problem better. Recently, there's also been a drug approved for the treatment of sleep apnea, which is Zepbound, which is one of the GLP-1, GIP drugs that are used for weight loss, and they're also used for diabetes. But recently, Zepbound has been approved for the treatment of sleep apnea. And the way it works is it makes you lose weight. So, you know, weight loss is very important in people that are carrying extra weight around.
So that's exactly the medicine that I used to lose my weight. I've been using Zepbound since September of last year, and the weight fell off. What does Zepbound have to do with weight loss? I mean, with sleep apnea?
It makes you lose weight. And so
and it does.
That are obese.
It's ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer, right? That's exactly what I just did.
But there are skinny people that have sleep apnea. So the sleep apnea is determined by the anatomy of your airway. So people that have sleep apnea have narrow airways, and when their muscles relax at night, the airway gets narrow enough that it collapses and the patient stops breathing. But we see people that didn't have sleep apnea when they were skinny, and then they gain 100 pounds and they get sleep apnea. And so in those patients, the primary problem is not the sleep apnea. The primary problem is the obesity. So if you treat the obesity, sleep apnea is basically, in that case, a symptom of obesity. And so if you lose the weight, then the sleep apnea can go away.
Excellent.
I have another question about the time change. I'm completely switching topics again. But somebody had asked, you know, we had somebody in here who was saying, when the time changes, whether it's falling back or springing forward, I guess she was saying that especially when it falls back, it takes her weeks to recover. Now, I have another friend who says that as well. Is that just mental? Is it just because it's dark and it looks like midnight at 5 o'clock? Or, you know, what causes that?
Well, it all has to do with the circadian clock in your brain. So your brain has this clock that sort of controls when you're sleepy and when you're awake. And that clock is set to the time zone that you're in. And so when you shift things, that clock can get messed up and it can disrupt sleep and make sleep less restful and that sort of thing. And so it's better in the fall because when you travel, west is best. So because basically we're going from Central Time to Mountain Time tomorrow night. And so that's actually better. Most people do okay with that. There's an increase of some things, depression gets worse, and other things get upset a little bit because of the shift in the time zone. When you shift time in the spring, when you spring forward, that causes more problems. And in fact, there's an increase in heart attacks, there's an increase in work accidents, there's an increase in automobile accidents that occur during that time. There's an increase in strokes, mental health issues get worse in the spring. They also get a little worse in the fall, but the major problems are when you shift the clock forward. And that's why sleep experts pretty much agree that we really need to just decide that we're going to have one time. Then the question is, which time is it going to be, and not shift it back and forth.
Yes,
we'll go with that.
That is exactly, yeah. Oh, you say standard time. Okay, great. Let's pick one and go with it.
Why is standard time the best?
The human brain is trained to noon being at noon, and when you do daylight savings time, noon occurs an hour before it really is.
Ah.
Okay. And so it makes the clock harder to keep synced. So, but I think sleep experts would be happy if we did daylight savings time because it's better than shifting it. Because where the problems occur is when the shift happens, as I mentioned, especially in the spring. So if we get rid of the shift, that would cause less problems. You do daylight savings time all year, that's fine as long as you don't mind your kids going to school at 9 o'clock in the morning in the dark. So,
right.
We're talking with Dr. Thomas Siler. He's the medical director at the Sleep Laboratory at SSM St. Joe's in St. Charles. Hey, real quick before I let you go. So I've heard all this stuff about melatonin, and you should take melatonin, and it helps you sleep. Is that true, or is that a wives' tale?
It can in some patients. Melatonin is a hormone secreted by the pineal gland in the brain, and the pineal gland is hooked onto your circadian clock. And so one of the things that helps control your circadian rhythms is melatonin secretion that occurs, and it goes up around bedtime and it goes down through the night. And so if you take some supplemental melatonin in some patients, it can help them get to sleep. It's not like a knockout pill that if you take it, you're going to be in sleep in 5 minutes, but some patients find it helpful.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Siler, we appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for working us in on a Halloween. I'm sure loading up with a ton of candy before we go to bed. Probably not what you're going to advise, right?
Yeah, carb loading is probably not a good idea right before bedtime.
But it is fun. So, there is that. Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you making some time. I hope you have a great weekend. And here's to making sure that we all get better sleep.
Okay. You guys have a good weekend as well.
You too. That's Dr. Thomas Siler. He's the medical director of the Sleep Laboratory and Pulmonary Rehab at SSM Health, St. Joe's Hospital in St. Charles. Man, that's a long title. I don't know how that fits on a business card. Hey, we've got the cut of the day that we are going to do on the other side. It's Mike Elam sitting in for Mark Reardon today on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a couple of accidents reported downtown. One is northbound 55, right at the Poplar Street Bridge, and that is creating a jam behind it. They had the camera turned to the jam, so I can't see what lane is blocked. And then we had an accident reported just a little bit north of there as well, so some slow-moving traffic there. But it hasn't affected things on the bridges, so if you are headed in if you're headed in from Illinois, things look fine. If you're headed into Illinois, it's difficult to get to the Poplar because of the accidents. But pretty much everywhere else we look good, at least on the interstates. Just a little bit of volume in the construction zone. Westbound 64 ramping on to westbound 70. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today. All right, you pick them. You don't have to take my word for it. Lots of 5-star reviews out there for my friends at Rhino Shield because, like me, there are a lot of satisfied Rhino Shield customers. And what does that mean? Well, maybe you're satisfied because it's exactly the color and beautiful, vivid color that you wanted, right, with the trim and all of that they can do in different colors, just like you would with regular paint, but it lasts for so long. Maybe you're happy because you're not out there scraping or having to pay somebody to scrape and paint every 4 or 5 years. That's what happens with regular paint. Not Rhino Shield. Goes on thick, waterproofs your house completely, protects it from the rays of the sun, gives you an insulation factor. It's fantastic. They've used it on HGTV on unpainted brick, block, aluminum, steel, hardy cement board. It's fantastic on all of it. Call them today for a free evaluation, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's the Mark Reardon Show Halloween edition as we come to our final part of this. Libby Luhu, who is on our stream here, who's been going back and forth, I got a chance to meet her daughter Mia and some of her friends at a St. Charles Chamber meeting the other day. They're part of the St. Charles County CAPS program. This is an amazing program, by the way. And all three of these young ladies, from Francis Howe, Big Howe, just very impressive young ladies. And when you sit down and you have some conversations, you know, because a lot of times it's easy for us to throw young people under the bus. They're not driven, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. All three of these young ladies were like super, super impressive. They knew
nice. That's really nice.
One of her friends was going to go to Indiana State and play soccer. One of her other friends is considering, he said, hopefully, considering the University of Arkansas. So I'm like, hey, come on, Emma, you can do it. So we'll see where that goes. But it's just nice to talk to some young people, and you're like, okay, you've got a lot more together than I did. And I feel very encouraged about the future of our county with young people like that.
That's great.
CAPS program is a great program. Shout out to Erica Land and who runs that program, and it's in all of the St. Charles County high schools, and they do a fantastic job. You know, one of the interesting things, we'll get back to the show in a second, but one of the interesting things that I was hearing about yesterday, listening to this podcast, they say that young people today, between 17 and 26, are more likely to be into faith than Generation X people.
Interesting.
I thought that was very interesting as well.
That's
because
good.
Being a Gen X person, I would have thought it wouldn't have been that way. But they said there's 36% of Gen Xers consider themselves agnostic, where only like 17% of, I guess they're Gen Z. Is that what generation they are?
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. I just thought that was encouraging as well.
Yes.
There just seems to be, like, don't throw the young people under the bus all the time, right? Don't be so bold to do that. They may surprise you, and they're going to come up and do some things that you didn't expect. Hey, one of the things that's going on is this whole government shutdown, and I heard a story earlier today where they were talking about one of the D.C. airports was actually delaying flights for a while due to staffing.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough staff to cover. And more of these air traffic controllers, as they're not paid, I'm kind of scared for us of what's going to mean. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, was talking about it could be a bad airport weekend.
Coming into this weekend and then the week after, I think you'll see even more disruptions in this because controllers are make a decision. Should I work and hopefully get a future paycheck, or do I actually have to, put food on the table, put gas in the car, deal with the family pressures financially?
He went on to talk about the fact that, as we get through the travel season here, getting to the holidays, and you get to Thanksgiving, that could be a real problem.
Our traffic will be snarled, right? It'll be a disaster in aviation. October is a slower air travel month, and we have great weather in October. And so you've seen minimal disruption because of good weather and slower travel. But as we go into November, travel picks up as people start to look at going to see their families. Kids come home from college. And if you don't have air traffic controllers who are being paid, they may want to stay on the job, but they cannot. They're going to have to go take a second job, and you're going to have mass issues throughout the airspace. People will not be able to go from one place to the other because of the government shutdown. And I hope Democrats don't take it to that point.
I hope the folks are right in saying that November 4th is going to be that time that we're going to get past this. Hey, we are up to the time of the audio cut of the day.
Can I give you a random fact?
Sorry, go ahead.
The very first air traffic controller was in St. Louis.
Really?
Yep. His name was Archie League, and they put him in like an Adirondack chair in the early days, and he would say, "Come in, go." I mean, it's amazing. It's
No way.
History of the Louis Sioux, if you want to hear it.
We're actually at the 99th anniversary of the Charles Lindbergh flight.
Yep.
Next year gets us to 100 as math would work.
Isn't that cool?
They moved the Lindbergh Foundation back to St. Louis. Sorry, I'm
Sorry.
getting up to time.
That was my fault.
No, it's all good. Audio cut of the day.
Stand by. Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
Now, Sue already played this earlier in the week, so you know this better, but this is Lewis Black. Are you a candy corn fan?
No, the only one in this room was Jane.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Any setup?
Oh, and Ethan.
Any setup that I need on this?
No, but he doesn't love it, and you'll see why.
Candy corn, they're using the word candy to describe it, is wrong. Using the word corn is wrong. It does not taste like candy nor corn. It tastes like something that was made out of oil. You could take all the bags of candy corn, and actually, if you melted them down, you could run a car. All the candy corn that was ever made was made in 1914. They never had to make it again. We never eat enough of it. We only eat 2 or 3 or 4 pieces apiece. Literally after Halloween, the candy corn companies send out their minions. And they go from garbage can to garbage can and collect the corn and throw it back in the bags. And it appears next year.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a great weekend, and don't forget to change the batteries in your smoke detectors. Mike Elam for Mark Reardon on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
If you are headed into Illinois right now, we have an accident on northbound 55 approaching the Poplar Street Bridge and one past it. But if you're headed into Illinois, we've got a jam that goes back through the 44 split because of the jam there, or because of the accident there. And out west, westbound 6440 is jammed, ramping on to westbound 70 because there's an accident there on that ramp. Other than that, things look great. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Barron Mirror Glass and Door, simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. You really can't find better quality, prices, or service. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Big news! Golden Oak is now your one-stop shop with Golden Oak Premier Realty and Golden Oak Lending. Buy, sell, or refinance and save thousands.